Welcome to the People's Podcast. It's Bad Movies Rule. And today we're talking about Terminator Salvation. We're going to the year 2018, and we got the Human Movie Database, Ryan Farrell in the house, and the Manimal, Bob Hauser. We're going back to the past, but in the future. We're talking about T-Salvation. Let's go. Yeah, this is not the first time we've done this, where we've gone back to the past to go into the future.
So what you're saying, James?
Yeah.
All right. So it's 2023 now.
We're in now.
We're in the now.
Yeah.
And we're going back to 2009 to talk about a movie that was set in 2018, which was born out of a franchise that took place in the 2020s, but started in 1984.
Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Okay. Let's just stick to the now.
I just need that sound drop from Austin Powers when Basil tries to explain time travel to him. He says, "Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed."
Oh no,
that's right. Yeah, no. The timeline. Is there a film series where the timeline is more convoluted at this point than the Terminator series? I mean, it makes almost no sense. They've gone back and forth so many stinking times.
Yeah, The Godfather.
Yeah, the Avengers movies.
The Avengers movies, yes.
Yeah.
The Godfather.
No.
Wait.
That's pretty linear.
Oh, that's pretty linear. Well, welcome in, guys. Welcome to all our new listeners. If you're listening for the first time, we're primarily a roasting, but sometimes praising movie podcast. We're going to take you through scene by scene. We're going to give you all the particulars about the movie. And then at the end, we've got lots of awards to give out along with our final ratings. And to all our returning listeners, thank you guys for being with us for another episode. So settle into your car, your house, work, wherever you are right now, and just have some fun with us for the next couple hours. We appreciate you guys all being here.
Or your Snuggie.
Well, yeah, Bob and his mobile Snuggie that he takes around. We've talked about that before.
Absolutely.
Grocery shops in it.
Yes. Yeah.
Goes to signing complicated insurance forms.
Absolutely. Insurance forms I have no business signing. I need to be accompanied by an adult.
It makes him feel like he's got a warm blanket around.
I mean, don't get Bob started on insurance because
I can't wait for the insurance on this last couple days.
That is a long conversation and a lot of therapy.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's just dive straight into the vitals here. We have a movie directed by maybe the most prolific director we've yet covered
McGriddle.
on the podcast. The McGriddle.
The McGriddle. That's funny.
That's why he shortened it, because he's embarrassed. Hey, bacon, egg, and cheese. Let's pump out another Charlie's Angel movie instead of making Terminator.
You know,
I would rather see Charlie's Angels 3 than another Terminator movie from him.
Charlie's Angels Back in Black, or whatever they would call it.
Back and laced.
Back and laced. Yeah, so McG, but I'm calling him McGriddle now for the rest of my days.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Captain McGriddle is helmed Terminator Salvation. Up to this point, all he had done was 2 Charlie's Angels movies, and what was the other one?
Thank you for the Charlie's Angels movie.
Yeah, I can't remember, but it was enough to go, how did this guy get handed Terminator Salvation, which apparently was the same question that Christian Bale had.
That was funny that Christian Bale originally said no to John Connor because McG was the director.
Right.
And Christian Bale said, quote, "Nothing in your credentials makes me think you are capable of handling this movie."
Right.
And McG was like, "Oh, come on, man. Don't do me like that. Please just give me a chance to grow." And I was like, the balls on Christian Bale to
I respect it. He's like,
pinnacle of his career. I'll give it to him. I mean,
McGee's and going, yeah, but I did Charlie's Angel Full Throttle,
Yeah.
and Christian's like,
Oh, good for you.
Oh. Yeah, that.
All right, we'll put the button on that one. The green one.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, my God.
Red one.
Red one.
There you go.
How many times is Christian Bale going to say, "Oh, good for you"?
We'll get to that. That's for later.
That's if I'll tell you when we get to our Thomas Technical Achievement Award, we'll have more.
Yeah, the
more on
DP,
that.
the DP is getting that award for you.
Shane Hurlbut all the way. Come on, I'm gonna say it now.
Fair enough. The movie was written by John Brancato and Michael Ferris, a writing duo that team up and have teamed up on tons of scripts in Hollywood before. And so we've got in their back catalog The Net, which oddly enough is also the next episode of BMR, which was not done on purpose.
Yeah, James had no idea it was going to play out like that. But
they They also famously wrote T3, the last one that Arnold was in before he went on to be the governor, which is why he wasn't in this one, too busy being the governor of California. And Catwoman.
Yeah, Catwoman. You know,
not the good one.
No, the one with Halle Berry. Yeah.
Right. I like the basketball scene.
That you would.
Oh, good for you.
We're gonna wear that out today, I think.
It's already worn out.
But that duo wrote one amazing screenplay and made an amazing movie, which hopefully maybe on Good Movies Rule we can talk about someday. But y'all ever seen The Game?
1997 with Michael Douglas.
Sean Penn,
directed by David Fincher.
such a good flick. To this day, every time I watch it, I'm like, my mind is blown.
Yeah, no, it's
good stuff.
It's kind of a great movie. That's great. Mm-hmm. So the fact that John Brancato and Michael Ferris kind of had this, it's funny they started their career with The Net,
Then into The Game,
and then into The Game.
I think that's how they survived Catwoman, to be honest with you.
But then they just got like the Terminator franchise. They got to write 2 Terminator films.
I know,
both of which are
one I like. I'll let you know which one later. The movie starred Christian Bale, Sam Worthington, Anton Yelchin, Moon Bloodgood, and Bryce Dallas Howard, along with a few others we'll get to.
Yeah, Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, Helena Bonham Carter
For one scene.
Common, the rapper, is in here. A little bit before his John Wick 2 days.
Right.
The budget for this movie, it is and it remains the highest budgeted, independently financed and raised funds for a film of all time.
Yeah.
The most expensive independent film ever made.
Yeah.
$200 million.
$200 million production budget. Independent film. Isn't that a cool thing?
That's great. And it sunk the whole production company.
Yep,
and they
that
never
too.
did anything else after this.
That too.
So, because the movie made $371 million at the box office, which you'd think, well, that's more. But man, when you sing $200 million into a project, plus cost,
plus advertising, all that,
and you don't get all 371, some of that goes to the theaters. That's not a good day at the office.
No, I mean the way the logistics kind of play out there is Warner Brothers bought the distribution rights for the indie film, but that was one of those things where, Warner already had released T3, but T2 was kind of released by, back in the day, I don't remember, I think it was Artisan that released T2.
Yeah, well, the rights...
Carlico something.
Yeah.
Carlico.
The rights have bounced all over the place, and after this financial fiasco, another studio bought it up and started doing Genesis. And
now Paramount does Terminator movies, and that's how we got Genesis and Dark Fate.
Yeah, so...
Skynet needs to take out Paramount.
Skynet, if Judgment Day ever happens, Paramount is ground zero. Don't be around Paramount Studios.
Not for Skynet, yeah. After they look at those 2 movies.
Seriously.
Skynet just needs to get the franchise rights.
Here's what I'm surprised by here.
AI their own movie.
Oh, God.
This movie might as well have been written by an AI. Are you sure ChatGPT wasn't fired up in Hollywood back rooms back in 2009?
Back in the day? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that was the, the proving ground for it all.
We need to punch this script up. Somebody get that computer bot.
Yeah, get the computer bot.
We'll do it.
And then he pulls the microchip out of his head with no issues. Next scene.
I love it. Bringing fire today.
Oh, come on.
Movie sits at a 6.5 on IMDb.
Hey, that's not bad.
It's currently tied for 24th highest on our show. There are 4 other movies we've done with the exact same rating. So tell me where you think Terminator Salvation fits in with these other 4. Three Amigos, Johnny Dangerously, Brewster's Millions, and Last Action Hero are all at a 6.5.
I would say Last Action and CT Salvation are deserving of their 6.5 rating. And the other ones can burn in hell.
Wow. Johnny Dangerously? Oh,
okay.
Man.
All right.
Farg that movie?
These farging ice holes.
Yeah.
Farging. Sorry, farging.
Yeah.
Farg that movie.
Movie currently sits, these ratings are, it's interesting because the IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes doesn't line up at all, even from an audience standpoint. 53% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 33% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Means it's rotten both by critics and audiences, but with an abnormally higher IMDb rating. So that's interesting.
Right. And then the Metascore, which we don't do Metacritic, I know,
we don't do Metacritic.
but it is a 49 on Metacritic, so that's once again kind of 50-50 there.
50-50 there, yeah. So we'll see. I'm expecting split decisions and fighting and all kinds of things in this room because there's 3 of us and
Do
it
you
looks
think
like
so?
half the audience likes it. So I'm sure at least one of us is going to think this movie is awesome.
I mean, we got 33% chance here today, so.
I'm interested to hear your guys. What's your history with this movie? Did you guys see it in the theater?
Opening day, sir. Matter of fact, this movie came out on May 21st, 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was also my golden birthday.
Was it?
So this was my golden birthday movie.
Awesome. So you had an incredible golden birthday.
I did, actually.
Did you love it when it came out?
Well, no.
Okay. All right. So you
Robert had a good experience as well.
Was I with you?
He's already
No.
calling you Robert.
No, you were
This is where
not.
we're going to be at today.
What did I have a good experience about? This movie?
Yeah. When you went to see this movie. Did you love it?
I didn't mind it.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to know what his quote was to me? Matter of fact, James Mummerman is involved.
What?
What happened to Mummer?
Oh, tell me. What you remember what Bob said to you 14 years ago about Terminator Salvation?
Absolutely.
What?
We were at the rap party for Mummerman at the lodge, right?
Yeah, this is right around when this came out. Yeah.
Yeah. We went to the rap party, and he walked up behind me. He grabbed my shoulder. He's like, Terminator Salvation was a pile of
Oh.
I was, what were we, 21?
Yeah, we were 21.
Yeah, I hate 21-year-olds. So
So you're just saying
35-year-old me has a different opinion about movies nowadays.
35-year-old Bob doesn't agree with 21-year-old Bob.
21-year-old Bob was a moron.
All right. Who would win in a fight between you and 21-year-old
I would.
Bob?
It would not be a question.
Yeah, no, 35-year-old Bob would mop the floor with 21-year-old Bob.
Yeah, but he's so young and virile.
He's not virile.
No,
He's a
but-
jackass.
I'll tell you
All
what,
right,
James.
that's fair. Yeah.
21-year-old Bob couldn't run, and 35-year-old Bob can't run. Okay, so no one's getting away fast.
He can run if somebody's chasing him.
But 35-year-old Bob is a lot stronger.
I remember one time we were out in the woods and he thought an animal was coming through the woods. This is when we were doing that zombie
Oh,
walk.
the Olympic sprinting.
And all of a sudden, Bob turned into Yul Brenner, or not Yul Brenner, Carl Lewis.
Oh,
Turned
sorry,
into
sprinting?
Carl Lewis all of a sudden started sprinting through the overgrown grass.
He's mad because I didn't run very well in Psycho Hiker, so he holds a grudge.
He's still mad about
He's
that.
still mad about that.
It was a different time in life.
Different time in life.
It would be like one of them
filming
things-
a movie for 8 years and dealing with everybody would make enough anybody to want to.
You know why I can't run, Ryan? Because I'm tired of making this movie. That's why I can't
probably
run.
it.
Back to one.
Back to one.
35-year-old Bob would grab 21-year-old Bob, and he'd be like Marv in Sin City. He'd just be like, "Let's see you hop around now, you little bastard."
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, look, when I saw this movie, I was not pleased when it came out.
James, when did you
probably
see it?
At the theaters,
And
I haven't seen it until this week for this episode. I hadn't seen it since then.
Oh.
So this is only my second viewing
Wow.
of Terminator Salvation.
So you came to realize that it's actually the best Terminator movie.
Well, no, I did not.
Out of the other
Absolutely
two
not.
that recently came out, it's a landslide better.
Hold on. Are we talking about like over the whole series, or are we talking
Feminator
about
2019.
Yeah.
Cooternator. Anti-man movie.
Genesis?
You know.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh.
Dark Fate, even worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say Salvation is better than
I guess-
those last two movies.
I guess it's like you look at it like there's the Cameron Terminators, and then there's the other four.
Okay, let's take hold on. This is the most
Take 1 and 2 out.
frustrating thing that people say.
Yeah.
Take Cameron's Terminators out of the franchise.
Okay.
They're their own two movies.
That's what I
Wraps
just.
up.
That's what I just did.
Yeah.
I know, but it's funny because we hear this from our friends
Yeah.
that it's not as good as the first one. No
You know what?
You know why the first one was so good?
Yeah.
Because it was made for pennies on the dollar and everyone was blood,
Thank
sweat,
you.
and tears and
Thank you.
hungry.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Because James Cameron was a truck driver.
Yes.
Who had to write the screenplay for Piranha 2 just to get
them made,
funding
right.
Yes.
to do Terminator as an indie film.
Him and Gail Ann Hurd, who did Walking Dead later on,
Right.
had to find funding for the original Terminator.
Yeah.
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 It is one of the greatest action sci-fi movies of all time,
Yeah.
bar none.
So we take those two out.
Take those two out. Now, if you're left with the other four movies, I will say Salvation is probably better than Genesis and Dark and then Feminator. All right.
I think the interesting thing about the franchise, the Terminator franchise, even including the Cameron ones, is I think they were released in the order that they're ranked. I think the first one's the best, then the second one, then the third one, then
doesn't happen very
Salvation,
often.
then Genesis, then Dark Fate.
That's your take on it. Huh?
I literally think, this is better than those two.
But
We'll
it's
get
just like, I
into it
laugh
here.
when people go to the theater now, and when they have like a legacy sequel, like Dial of Destiny or whatever comes out, and they automatically put it up against either original 3 from the 80s or original 2 from the 80s, expecting the same result. It's not going to happen.
No.
If they made Back to the Future 4 right now,
Oh God, don't say
you
that.
know it's not going to happen.
Any of them. I mean, we got Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming out.
Right.
Too, and Lethal Weapon 5 coming out.
I can't wait for that one.
I can't wait for that movie to just get canceled.
I can't wait for
because it's going to
it.
be awesome. The movie's going to be
I'm
great.
going to do 30 seconds on Lethal Weapon because we got to get to the plot here of this movie. But
There's a war with machines.
Richard Donner.
The end.
Richard Donner was working on the script for Lethal Weapon 5 when he died.
Yeah.
And he made Mel Gibson promise. He was in his 90s at this point.
Yeah. I didn't know
Made
he was that
him
old.
promise that if he kicked the bucket, that he would still do the movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, come on, Dick, you're not going to die." I said, "Well, he did." And so Mel Gibson is stepped in to keep a promise to an old friend and is directing Lethal Weapon 5.
Yeah.
And what do you think about him as a person besides the point? He's a phenomenal director.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for Lethal Weapon 5. If Donner's fingerprints are on the screenplay, which they seem to be,
And Shane Black's.
and Shane Black's, and Gibson directing, I don't care if they're 80 years old. It's going to be
It's
awesome.
gonna be great, and that's why I laugh because every movie that Gibson's in is it gets unanimously trashed by the critics.
A Hollywood Reporter destroyed the Continental.
Like,
And the whole, if you read the review, it's literally just boils down to, I don't like Mel Gibson.
yes, that's all it
Most
was.
people.
That's it.
There was like a big thing, like especially after Edge of Darkness in 2010,
Great movie.
which it is a very good movie.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoyed Edge of Darkness a lot. And then you look at like what happened, because I was right during that Oksana Grigorieva thing.
Yes.
And he was slated to do like this Viking epic with Leonardo DiCaprio, which sounded cool as just like, yes, Gibson DiCaprio doing a Viking war movie.
Yes.
How could that go wrong?
Right.
And DiCaprio literally said like something, the movie got shut down and he said, yeah, I don't do movies with woman beaters or something like that. And
Jeez,
and it was
Leo.
Next time Leo's on the stage at the Oscars, he's gonna be dating Seaman. You have no room to talk, Leo.
We're getting younger, buddy. And you're going to be in your 50s here soon.
yeah, he's about to be 50.
Seriously. All right, look, let's dive
Still has
into
a
this
little boy
plot.
face.
We're going to get into Terminator Salvation. I'm here for all the Leo slander you want to continue to spice into here. I'm good with it.
Really?
Yeah, I love Leo DiCaprio as an
Yeah, yeah.
actor. As
So do
a
I.
person, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know him as a person.
I don't know any of them as persons.
I like Leo.
The movie
like
Terminator
Mel.
Salvation starts with Helena Bonham Carter. Anyway, she's got a 7 head and she walks into Sam Worthington's cell.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
With her giant forehead. And
He has
basically,
cancer.
oh,
Movie
Oh, good for you.
okay.
movie cancer.
She doesn't actually, I would never make fun of someone that actually had cancer. Okay. She's just, anyway, we're getting past that. We're not even started yet.
She has movie cancer. Move on.
She has movie cancer.
She basically says, Sam Worthington, you're on death row. Hey, you want to be a robot? You got to sign here. Okay.
Sure.
I mean, everyone knew that's what was happening, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be a test subject for Cyberdyne, Skynet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you want to be a? It literally says, "Do you want to?" It like
Donate your body.
Cyberdyne.
Yeah.
Cyberdyne Genetics Division is on the letterhead.
We're like, I wonder what this is
Yeah,
going to turn
right,
into.
right.
It's like, yeah, I'll tell you what, you want to make out, like you said.
Yeah. So let's make out.
I'll sell
And,
it to you for a kiss.
Kisses her,
Yeah.
says something horrible, something like, oh, that's what death tastes like.
He says that's what death tastes like. Yeah,
He gets lethal injected, and that cuts to your favorite text opening screen.
Dun dun dun.
But
I do.
it's this like reused dialogue really from Arnold in T2.
It is.
Where he's giving the backstory, on this date that Skynet became self-aware at 100 hours or whatever, whatever he says.
If only it was narrated like that,
Okay, it would have been
it
fantastic.
would have been much better.
All right, the people that survived went on to fight against the machines, and it's literally taken straight from Terminator 2.
If anybody knows the Terminator story, that's
what-
it.
that's
It's
what
like
the
here's your big preface
Right.
to, and that was the thing with the movie. I mean, if we're we're getting into the plot
yeah,
here,
let's do it.
But we've had 3 movies based on time travel about a machine going back in time to try to stop John Connor, Sarah Connor, whatever. We're finally at this movie that's the War of the Machines.
And this was actually supposed to be the first in a trilogy of future war movies. They were all going to take
Yes.
place with John Connor fighting the machine.
It was essentially because this one's in 2018,
right?
But technically, the mission to go back in time from the first Terminator,
right?
That isn't actually till 2029.
Right. So this takes place 11 years.
So this is 11. So there was like this 11-year period where there was going to be this trilogy of War of the Machines movies.
At the end of which Kyle Reese would have been sent back at the end of the third movie, because that would have been time for him to then go and save Sarah Connor. And so at this point, the time travel device hasn't even been invented yet.
No.
And we're still 11 years ahead of that. And that's why Kyle Reese is so young in the movie. And they were going to do all these movies. It never materialized. And so we just get this one, essentially. We are now in the future, and the battle is in 2018. Because Judgment Day, I think they're still holding to the fact that it was in 1997, at least in the timeline.
August 29th.
Oh, no, because the T3 now is 2004, because they delayed it a little bit.
Yeah.
It always gets pushed somehow.
It got delayed
because then
stopped.
Because then even in Terminator Genesis, they travel from 84, when they redo the timeline, then they go from 84. I think they go from 84 to 2018, San Francisco. Right.
But I think because this follows T3 and it's by the same writers, I think they're going off the fact that it was 2003, 2004, whenever when the actual bombs fell. Right. So it got pushed back a little bit from the 1997 date in T2.
There's
but regardless.
Always some continuity thing with
all
the Terminator
I'm saying
timeline.
Is, given the fact that time ended around the turn of the millennium, Skynet did do us a few favors. Maybe they're not totally evil. Now we don't have to deal with Cardi B and Taylor Swift and all this like there's no Swifties anymore, thankfully.
Sure.
Right?
Megan Trainers.
Megan Trainers not going to
whatever they call it, Megatrons, whatever they call their fan base.
We don't have to see any of those crappy Transformer movies. None of those got made.
None of the Transformers movies.
I mean, we miss out on the MCU, and in 2018 was when Infinity War came out, so that's a bit of a bummer that they don't get that.
So we wouldn't have had the conclusion to the first or whatever phase 3.
No, but we don't have the Kardashians, so
Hey, victory!
Thank you, Skynet.
Nice.
Let's give Skynet its props where it deserves it, I guess. Right?
You know what?
The Kardashians are living in a hole.
It ended America just in time. Just in time before the fall of America.
Because the 80s and 90s were the best, right?
And the early aughts.
Come
on.
And so
you can't go wrong with the early aughts.
Skynet was
what
like,
the hell's an early aught?
Best we just pull the plug, right?
The zeros.
The early 2000s. The aughts or the 2000s.
Yeah.
The aughts?
Yeah, like the zeros. Like 2000, 2000.
Like AUGHT.
Because you say the teens, the 20s, the 30s. Well, what do you say when it's the zeros?
The zeros.
Right, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Okay.
So that's why
the tens.
The early 2000s.
The early
2000s. There you go. That's
the 2010s.
Sure. All right. Anyway, there's a chopper, and I thought this was a really awesome introduction to John Connor.
Here we go.
The legs of a chopper come down and crush the neck of a T-600, which is the earlier model Terminator, and then John Connor steps off the chopper, and here the resistance is there to take out a Skynet facility. Right, I don't know, some kind of R&D facility
with lots of dishes,
all kinds of satellite dishes, and a big giant hole that John Connor is going to rappel down by himself. The rest of the team is going to meet him down there. We don't know how they all get down there. It doesn't matter.
They rappel.
John just rappels by himself, gets down. His team's in there.
Look, character intro, like you said, just steps out, double taps the Terminator in the head. Camera pans up. We got Christian Bale.
Yeah,
and I'll say like this. For an opening, there's just bombs going off in the background.
Great opening.
Satellite dishes exploding. Helicopters landing here. Yeah.
One anti-aircraft thing. I'm like, maybe needs some more anti-aircraft.
They probably could have used some more SAM sites. That's for sure. But
yes, But it was a great introduction for the character.
Yeah,
for sure. He rappels down.
Dude, love it. Just throws the thing down the hole and just like base jumps.
Here's a question, and I wish I had a truck horn on here every time we have to drive through one of these plot holes. Be like, meh, meh. But one thing I've always wondered about: why would Skynet build facilities that humans could traverse with hallways and doors and things like that?
Because then it wouldn't be a movie.
But then they wouldn't. But it just doesn't make any logical sense.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
No, it doesn't.
That the humans can. There's hallways built for people, and anyway, we'll
you want to know a bigger logical plot hole?
What?
So Skynet is AI, right?
Yeah.
And it launches nuclear weapons, like during the Judgment Day when Skynet goes active or becomes self-aware. This is a global AI network that became self-aware, that launched nuclear weapons from every country. I mean, end of T3, all the nukes going across the globe. Love that shot too.
Yeah.
How is it that there is even a resistance?
Oh, well,
If this is a global AI network that is so self-aware, like how are they having helicopters and being undetected?
Yeah.
How are they having unlimited ammunition? Where's their ammunition coming from?
they're making it in bowls underground.
Or in their submarines?
They're working submarines.
How do they have submarines that are just
don't know.
going like, we're talking plot holes of Terminator here.
All right.
That's a
Well,
lot
keep
of holes.
bringing them up as they come along because there's a lot of them. They go into this R&D facility and there's bodies and prisoners on gurneys and things. And we catch a glimpse of Sam Worthington, who supposedly died many, many years before, just sitting there kind of catatonic. And they find all this intel on a new Terminator's being built. R&D on the T-800.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, crap, as they're looking at this screen with, living flesh surrounding the Terminators. Right now they got the T-600s, which are kind of clunky. They are recognizable as Terminators, but they don't look like...
They're very tin can, aluminum foil Terminators.
Yeah, they don't look like the traditional T-800.
They're not the Arnolds.
The Arnolds, right, for sure.
That's the hybrid, right?
So they're like, they're like, oh, crap, look, we knew they were planning something, and here it is. Right.
Right.
And then Skynet attacks, and there is one commanding officer in that group that I don't even know if they ever show him on camera, but you hear him, and he's like Billy Bob Thornton in Tombstone. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids or something. We get you guys up out of here. Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Just in this scene.
Yeah.
And everybody gets killed except John. So we don't see him anymore. But I just want to give that guy a little shout out.
What is his line? What is his line that
I
you
don't
love?
even remember the line. I just remember him yelling like a hillbilly in the background of all these,
Are you like talking about the general who's like, Connor, get your ass topside. Tell them to answer the radio even if they're dead.
Yeah, that guy.
That guy. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Answer the radio even when you're dead. You dumb hick.
Yeah.
That's right. You better work that jaw and go,
There it is.
"Wang, wang, 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 wang." Just like
Man,
that.
it's like trying to F a squirrel.
That's right. That's exactly what
It was a bad attempt at like a,
He sucked at his
badass
job.
commanding officer line.
Add him to the barrel of Steven Seagal's trash can right there.
John zips back up his zip line. Okay, everyone's getting killed, and he lands up on there, and out of nowhere, there's just dead Terry Crews.
Yes. Captain Jericho, apparently was his name.
And I because I hadn't read up on it till afterwards, I'm like, why is Terry Crews just playing a dead body in this movie?
Yeah.
He's just right there, and it's obviously him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't mistake that jawline.
But apparently he had a
those
whole
pecs.
thing that just got cut out of the movie.
Yeah.
How dare they?
That's McGriddle for you.
McGriddle takes Terry Crews.
Oh,
out.
Take Terry Crews out of the...
Allegedly, McGriddle has a darker director's cut.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
And does Terry Crews survive that one, or at least is alive?
He
in
doesn't
it?
survive it, but his plot line is expounded upon.
We can
What the hell does that mean?
that his scenes are back in.
You just say back in. Why you gotta speak? Why you gotta speak all icky freaky?
Yeah, no icky freakiness over here, dude.
No icky freaky words today.
I'm bald and smart, and I wear an alien shirt. I'm gonna say aughts instead of early 2000s. I'm gonna say some other word I can't pronounce instead of saying he's back in the movie.
That's right.
Because it makes me sound a lot more intelligent. God, I love being an American.
What a loser.
You know what I ask people when I see them at a picnic? How are your taxes this year? Are you in the black?
All right. Of all the things John Connor is good at, we can scratch helicopter pilot off the list because he jumps into this helicopter, knocks the pilot's dead to try and chase a prisoner transport that's leaving, and he just
Great scene.
immediately crashes.
I love how he jumps in the helicopter. He's like, "There's human people on that. Get after it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you're dead."
Did anyone
Never mind. I'll fly.
Did anyone bother to tell him, Christian? Yeah, you're not in Batman.
Why is he using the Batman voice the whole movie?
You're the resistance. This is John Connor. If you're listening to this, I came from Gotham City and changed my name. I found out my daddy went back in time and impregnated a waitress.
Where's the trigger?
You'll never give it to an ordinary citizen. Where is it? Where's the trigger?
Here's what happens. After he crashes his helicopter, he gets into a fight with only a torso of a T-600. And it's a cool fight.
It's a cool fight.
Gets him,
decent.
ultimately
It's
uses the
decent.
mounted gun on the crashed helicopter to kill the guy. And then he gets commands calling over the radio. Is anybody alive? Anybody pick up? And he just goes, here. Any survivors? One.
Who is it?
Connor.
Like this guy mutters more sentence fragments than Tommy Boy does. Okay. All his dialogue is just sentence fragments.
Man.
Does he speak a complete sentence in the movie? Maybe a couple?
He does.
He does a couple times.
He does.
We've been at war with each other for the last. I have no idea.
He speaks clearly when he's waxing philosophically. But other than that,
I didn't get my time to stare at the wall for 30 minutes.
oh gosh, that's funny. That's right.
After they leave and there's a big blast at the facility, we do see
Nuclear.
a nuclear blast.
Tell me this.
Yeah.
Y'all realize that was one take.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So first shout out to Shane Hurlbutt.
Yeah, great.
From the time that Christian Bale ascends to the time that the helicopter crashes and he looks at the nuclear blast, it's all a one taker.
I have nothing but positive things to say about how this movie was shot. Looks, the color grading, I'm not a huge fan of. It's kind of like desaturated too much for me. But I'm just saying the effects, how it was shot, everything, A+ for me.
Yeah.
So I'll continue throughout this whole
The
run
visuals
through
are awesome.
to give praise for that.
First,
I thought
big, like I love the fact that Shane Hurlbutt went there, did the one takers. There's a lot of one takers in the movie.
this movie looks better than Genesis and Dark Fate.
Oh, absolutely.
From an effects standpoint.
think it looks better than T3.
This movie looks better than the Marvels.
Yo, dude,
Huh?
the CGI in this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And this is a 14-year-old movie. And then you see movies coming out this year with just garbage CGI.
A lot. Yeah.
It's not CGI that I hate. Are people always like, mine's about... Yes, I'll take practical every day. I'm a practical effects guy. But this shows that you can do it really well if you want to.
Yeah. I felt like that was kind of the cutoff in a way where it was like the movies that we got at the end of the aughts.
Just
the early 2010s were like... I felt like that was just where...
DOA.
That was where we got like those movies that really integrated visual effects well, and it's not like now where they're just like, well, let's just do CGI.
We see the crappy CGI in Kingdom of Crystal Skull a year before this, and you see this, you're just like, what happened?
Yeah, even in Crystal Skull, the CGI was terrible.
You're like, what
it
happened?
wasn't that bad.
The movie, I'm an apologist for Crystal Skull, the movie. The CGI,
It wasn't that bad.
not when you hold it up against Salvation.
No,
Yeah. I was just say you compare the two, Salvation looks better.
I just think it's like this was the time. Like if you ever want to watch movies with good CGI integrated into practical stuff, it's like look no further than the late aughts.
That's the way to do it. Integrate it with practical if you're going to use it. Don't just go full CG. Now, after this blast, we do get this awesome scene where Sam Worthington's character Marcus crawls out of the mud, and he is covered in mud after this nuclear blast, and he is now awake and gives one of the all-time yells in cinema history. I loved this yell.
It's a very epic yell.
It is. I can't even recreate it. It's like a guttural scream.
It's like the awakening of someone who's been dead for 15 years.
Yeah.
And just, he wakes up covered in mud in this post-apocalyptic world.
Thinking all he knew was his human life.
Right.
So he thinks,
Total
awesome.
WTF moment of I don't know. It is a very good a
good intro again for this character.
Yeah.
All right, so John is taken on a helicopter, and John goes like, "Take me to command," and they're like, "Command doesn't want to talk to you." No, he's like, "All right, I'm just gonna swim to the submarine. So tell them I'm coming. I'm on my way."
Yes. Yep.
He just jumps.
He asked for divers, actually.
He does ask for divers. I know,
which I
but it's
missed
just
that the first time I watched it.
funny.
Yeah,
He,
but still, it's
like he's Captain America, dives off into the ocean.
That would kill anybody. I mean, not Navy SEALs. They're badasses.
Right. How long is it going to take him to get the divers in their suits and out to get him? He's like, diving in right now. Give me divers. Splash.
Yeah.
Like, you're Batman.
Yeah, I know.
Well, John Connor, I think, is an ex-Navy SEAL.
Sure.
I bet he is.
To wrap this up, because this is all expo here with the in the command. We get Michael Ironside in this movie, which is a nice little treat. He's the guy. He's always in the sub the whole movie. He's the guy in the sub.
Yeah. General Ashton.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Michael Ironside and the commanders there are saying we have discovered a signal embedded in a radio frequency that we can use to shut down Terminator units and we're going to use this to bomb Skynet, the facility in San Francisco, and we're going to do this in 4 days' time. Essentially,
Everybody got that?
that's what the plot of this movie is.
Sure.
Okay?
Right.
Right. And John Connor's like, and we're gonna trust you to do this. We're gonna give you the signal to test it and make sure it works on some smaller units. Because in 4 days we're taking the signal to take on Skynet. And he's like, why 4 days? Because there's some kill list that was released. This is important. That Skynet has released saying these people will all be dead in the next week, and you're number 2 on that list. And John goes, who's number 1? Kyle Reese.
Uh-oh.
And this is where John, as he's now gets back to the base, goes, they want to kill Kyle Reese and erase the future. Kill Kyle Reese, reset the future. I've got to protect Daddy, because Kyle Reese is his dad, which he knows because he listens to the tapes from his mother.
Yes. The tapes that Sarah Connor left.
Okay, cue the truck. Here's one of the biggest freaking plot holes in this movie.
Yep.
How on earth does Skynet know that Kyle Reese goes back in time at this point to go have sex with Sarah Connor to make John Connor? How do they know? And if they did find out somehow, because from 1984 or whatever, all they have to do is not invent the time travel thing, and Kyle can never go back, and John Connor would never exist.
So that's rather linear there, James?
Okay, what do you mean?
Well-
did that make sense to you?
Made very much sense. Are you ready for a very frustrating conversation with the Pharaoh? Have fun. Have fun trying to argue out of this
It shows
one.
that they know about the future or the past.
Yes,
right?
it does.
And so all they have to do is stop that from happening. Destroy all your time travel stuff. Or if you've got the research or whatever, destroy it.
But then we can't watch the movie.
I understand that. I'm talking about plot holes, Ryan. Don't be that guy that's just like, but it's a movie. I understand that it's a movie. We're in the meta of the universe right now.
But movie.
So you have to have it make sense. There's no way. Don't write that as a plot line.
I got it.
Okay.
John Connor needs to stop drinking tequila at night around these bonfires and saying, my mama was knocked up by Kyle Reese. There's a spy
That's how
around
they
the
knew.
campfire that was working for Skynet.
Then still just don't
What?
make your time travel stuff.
Reported back to Skynet and say, he talks a lot about this Kyle Reese guy.
The problem isn't that there's a movie. The point is the writers made this a plot line. They don't have to know about Kyle Reese. It makes sense for them wanting to kill John Connor. He's the leader of the resistance.
All right.
But if you're going to say they know about the future already, you've now created a giant plot hole in the middle of your film.
How about this?
oh, God.
So say Skynet had access to Cyberdyne Systems archives, right? Sarah Connor had been there how many times?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then they're like, oh, who's this Sarah Connor chick?
Yeah.
And then they say like, oh, she was in this institution. She was institutionalized in the 80s
I'm gonna
because
save you
she
some
said
time.
a machine did this.
I'm gonna save you some time.
And then they read the archives.
I can understand
Yeah.
how they might come to understand who Kyle Reese is, but they could very easily stop this from happening.
The problem was
They don't have to send another Terminator back.
so
the
basically,
movie-
all they needed to do was not invent time travel.
or they needed to do is made the movie as right when they invented time travel.
Yeah.
Would have made
Right.
more sense.
Fine. Either way. Okay.
Interesting. Interesting.
And anyway,
I'm going with my drunken tequila blabbermouth night.
You're probably right.
That's probably what happened.
I did for a second want the other commander when he says you're number 2 on the death list. Kyle Reese is number 1. I want him to turn to John Connor and go jealous.
I wonder.
No, I'm just kidding. All right, so at this point we're back with Marcus. Sam Worthington's character walks into a blown up L.A., which I thought was a really cool shot.
Yeah.
He just walks past the crumbling Hollywood sign,
Yep.
and you see the whole vista.
You saw the aftermath of what Kurt Russell did.
Yeah, right, exactly. And he stumbles as he's walking through because he doesn't understand that the machines have taken over or anything yet at this point.
Nope.
And so as he walks into town, he stumbles upon a T-600 with a Gatling gun. Who doesn't recognize him? Meh, meh. Another plot hole. Because later on we established that when these machines see him in his face, they're like, oh, cool, you're good. But whatever, we're just going to zoom right past that.
Big Daddy Cool, Diesel.
He's
Yeah.
just driving through these potholes, baby. We're keep on chucking. 10-4.
But if the T600 But if the T600 knew that Marcus Wright was a machine, that would spoil the twist.
But
also,
then don't have him. Then have Kyle Reese get recognized by the machine, and Marcus saves him.
all Sam Worthington did, Marcus did at the end, was just flash his boobs.
That's true.
I'm a machine.
I'm a machine.
All right, he's good.
You're like,
They recognized him by his
look
face
at the pecs on that.
later on, right? Again, it's a writing thing. Have Kyle Reese be noticed by the T600, and Marcus comes in
Did
to save
Skip
him.
Woods write this movie?
Instead of
Skip Woods had to do uncredited rewrites.
instead of the inverse.
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, instead Kyle Reese comes out, and he's the one that saves Marcus from the T600. They're like up on the roof, and it's basically Kyle and this little girl named Star, who looks like she's 8 or 9 years old.
Sure.
Doesn't talk. And they have this contraption. They're like, oh, is he standing right in the one spot? We've got the thing. And they just drop a piano on the thing's head or whatever on the T600.
Yeah, like some railroad train.
Something. Hand cart or something, right?
It's something. It has like train wheels on it,
Right.
and it obviously looks heavy.
Destroy that.
Looks very heavy.
And this is where we get a repeat of a line. What day is it? What year? Which was a Michael Biehn line from the original Terminator.
Yeah,
We had the other one though.
What's the other one?
When
Oh,
Anton,
that's right.
yeah,
When Kyle Reese first comes to help
first
him.
opening line, tackles Marcus Wright, pulls down his little face thing, and says, "Come with me if you want to live."
That's right. It's interesting. They peppered this throughout the entire.
in a very young Anton Yelkin boy voice.
That's right.
You know, that's what killed it for me. Anton Yelkin, great actor, but Kyle Reese.
Michael Biehn.
Oh.
And apparently Anton Yelkin watched and studied Michael Bihn's performance to try and influence his own, but I don't have a problem with Anton Yelkin, but I didn't see the Michael Biehn-ness of the performance.
It was the Emilia Clarke effect. It was for Kyle Reese. It was he looked the part. He acted very well. It's just his voice
You needed a grungier guy.
nuked his he did everything right. He just couldn't help how it sounded when it came out.
Yeah, I got you.
Like, yeah.
Ultimately, Marcus is informed that he's actually in the year 2018, and he's like, "I need a car." He's like, "There's cars at the observatory. We'll go there, and we'll get you a car.
Yeah.
Good luck getting any of them to run." And Marcus is like, "Well, you let me figure that out." But they're going there, which is funny because this observatory they camp out at after it's now nighttime, and they're camping out this observatory, is the same place where the Terminator shows up in the original Terminator when he goes back in time, when he beats up Bill Paxton and what's this guy from Cobra?
Oh yeah. Brian.
Yes.
Oh,
Brian.
yeah, Brian's favorite actor, Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson.
Brian Thompson.
Yeah, Brian
So
Thompson.
it's the same observatory where they send him back in time.
Is it really?
It is.
What's it the same?
That's a
not
fun
to jump,
fact.
Not to jump forward, but I thought the same thing about the gas station that got blown up. Is
Yeah.
that the same gas station? That
Oh,
she was parked outside
It
of?
could have been.
Like, I just was curious if that was an Easter egg.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could have been. I didn't read that, but I mean, let's just say it is.
The same gas
All
station
right.
from the
They
Movie
tried.
theory. It's the same gas station.
Yeah.
I lost my place. Oh,
Observatory.
here we go. Observatory, yes. Where Marcus does some David Blaine crap with a string and teaches Kyle Reese how to tie a string on the end of his shotgun, a trick that Kyle Reese would use in the original Terminator as well. So they're laying the groundwork for some of this stuff. And then ultimately he fixes, the important thing that happens here when they're camping out is Marcus fixes a radio, which then is able to pick up John Connor's broadcast.
Yes. We have our first fireside chat with John Connor.
Fireside.
You're the resistance.
If you can hear me, you are the resistance.
Is anybody can contact Jim Gordon in Gotham? Let him know to send my suit.
Yeah, and if you guys run into any T600s, there's a weakness in the back of their neck where you can scramble their targeting systems with a knife.
I just wanted to be like,
All
today.
right, see you later.
I just wanted to be like,
Everybody got that?
I just want to be like, today's tip of the week. Get ready for Lug's boot of the week. The Terminators are vulnerable near the basal cortex of their,
Exactly.
You don't say everyone's weak at their
No.
basal cortex.
Weird. The next day,
Why didn't Skynet just design them without that basal cortex?
there you go. The next day, or actually, I would say what's funny is like, this is going out to all the resistance, and they show like 6 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Around each campfire.
They tried.
You got Hawaii, Cambodia,
3 people in Cambodia, 3 people in Hawaii. That's the whole.
one person in Russia. Snow on the ground.
Yeah.
The next day, they
Where's the
do.
vodka?
Marcus does get a Jeep.
Oh, yeah.
They're out
You
in
do
the
that.
parking lot at the observatory, right? And he does get a Jeep to work.
Cranks on Alice in Chains.
Kyle Reese acts like he's never heard music before and that he's never driven before. But guess what? He knows everything there is to know about both of them.
I think he literally says, I've never driven before.
Right, and then
That's
drives like a
literally-
professional driver.
And then evades a Terminator motorcycle.
I'm saying,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
And
So that's the first one.
Marcus manages to hit the thing with a tire iron from 200 yards.
Yeah.
And then when Alice in Chains comes on, when the radio starts, Kyle acts like he's never heard music before. That's the way he's selling it. And he goes, "What is this?" Right?
Yeah.
Something my brother used to listen to or whatever.
Yeah.
But then a minute later, when the drone comes in, I think it heard the music. And I'm like, how do you know what the frick music is, Kyle Reese?
You know?
Question is, who's powering up the radio for the music to be playing?
Yeah, what radio station is this broadcasting
the other
at?
thing is like there's that too. Also, the batteries in these cars, and we want to really get into it. I know people don't like when we get super nitpicky with this stuff because
No,
it's like
we're
enjoy
not
the
nitpicky,
movie.
we're just joking around.
But like even just the hoses and stuff in the car and the batteries would all be dissolved and
Yeah.
flaked into pieces by this point.
Yeah.
So we have to suspend some disbelief. So I don't want to get too far.
Maybe it was a CD.
To me, the problem is less with the cars wouldn't work, whatever, but it's a movie. And my bigger problem is writing stuff directly into the movie, like I've never driven before, and then the guy can drive like he's a rally car champion, like that kind of stuff.
I mean, we do now in the movie get this pretty cool car chase.
I like the car chase.
Yeah.
Those motorcycle that's not yet. That's later. I'm sorry.
That's later.
This car chase was cool, and this is with Star, who Mark is pretty mean to at first, yelling at her to get out of the car
Right,
and all this
right.
stuff, and he's going to go without them. He's trying to get to San Francisco, and Kyle Reese is trying to tell him like, dude, that's like Skynet Central. Don't go to San Francisco.
Right.
And they do finally chuck a tire iron. Marcus does, and I think that's supposed to be our first clue that he's probably not a person, because I don't think a person could chuck a
Have
tire
that
iron
precision aim.
or strength to have that hit the thing hard enough to do damage to a Terminator.
I mean, it was made by Apple. It's not that hard.
Skynet just co-opted all the Apple technology.
Yes.
All right. They kill the drone, and that's the first clue to his identity. And eventually they find a 7-Eleven, which is actually pretty much like a 7-Eleven is now, complete with gang members and everything.
They don't let you use your bathroom.
They don't let you use the bathroom.
Got to buy something.
You gotta buy something, and they still don't let you use the bathroom.
It's about in the right shape.
Get chlamydia if you eat a chicken wing. And you'll be lucky if you can make it back to your car.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. So not much has changed in 7-Eleven land.
I mean,
after the apocalypse.
No.
A bunch of people are in there. They surround him with guns until Granny comes out, and she's like, "Give this child some food. Here, eat some food." And the guys are getting mad. "Hey, those are my carrots."
Yeah.
You know,
Those are my carrots.
The hell, that's our fuel,
right.
and they're mad. Shouldn't give them anything. Just your typical post-apocalyptic stuff. Nobody wants to share. No one wants to help anybody.
No.
Anyone that's seen any of these kind of movies understands
Sure.
what's happening here.
The typical, the archetypal post-apocalyptic ruffians.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you get all
then-
that, Bob?
A ruffian,
Yeah, I got it.
like Rufio.
I just don't care.
Rufio. Bangarang.
Bangarang, Peter.
Hey, I'll tell you. Is that a great movie or is that a bad movie? 'Cause
That's a great
It
movie.
qualifies for this show.
it qualifies for
That's a
being
great
a
movie.
movie.
Critics destroyed
we don't
it.
even have to
Yeah.
do an episode. Great
No.
movie.
Great movie. Great
right.
movie. That's great. Critics were wrong.
Critics suck.
You know what happened? When I was 10, you were a lot bigger. All right. Anyway, so all this happened. They're arguing about carrots, and freaking King Kong Terminator just snatches Granny up out of that gas station. Like,
Friggin', what even is that?
these two big giant hands reach in.
It's not even a hunter-killer Terminator.
No.
It's nothing that we have seen before.
It's 100 feet tall.
It's a collector.
You know what
We'll
it
call
is?
Collector.
You know what it is?
What's that?
It's a transformer.
It's huge, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's literally like an Autobot or a
That's
whatever.
how big it is.
And it's got the things that come out of its legs.
Towering.
Yep.
Towering up. It starts snatching people up, and they've got the prisoner transport thing there. They're just dumping people, kind of like War of the Worlds, where they would just dump people into into the containers or
Yep,
whatever.
yep.
And they end up all scattering, all the gang members, like, "You brought them to us," and they're getting blasted out of every car that tries to drive away is getting lit
I
up.
like that one. The guy runs away, gets hit by a car, gets back up, runs, and jumps into the car that hit him, and get blown up down the street.
I know.
Yeah.
I thought that guy was gonna die from getting hit by a car. Imagine you're running away from a giant Terminator, and the way you get killed is one of your friends
One of
runs you
your
over.
friends runs you over.
Oh, sorry, man. My bad.
Oh, sorry, bro.
Sorry, bro. Did you get the pizza puff?
Kyle Reese is like, "Don't just run. Look what's happening to these people." So instead, they push this gasoline tank into the shins basically of this
I
giant
did enjoy
Terminator.
this scene a lot. It was good.
And they're like, shoot the tank. And they're shooting it. And then I was like, hold on. Reverse trope. It didn't work.
It doesn't blow up.
Like, unlike in Cobra, where he blasts the thing.
Yeah.
and it just-
Contrary to movie history, when you shoot a gas tanker,
Yes.
it does not explode.
All it did was gas just started to leak out. And I'm like, that's great. They reverse troped it, man. And so instead,
They didn't have fire bullets on.
Star, they didn't have Inferno.
Inferno ammo.
Yeah.
Instead, Star just hands him a flare. Again, doesn't speak.
Great acting, Star. Wonderful.
You love non-vocal
She
performances.
can't even talk. I know you hate kids, but she can't even talk.
Actually, she'd probably be the perfect because she doesn't talk.
It's like
It's
Bob's
it's
like
Bob's
best
favorite
performance.
character in the movie.
Best child performance of all time.
She didn't say anything.
She didn't say a word.
Great acting.
They take the flare, they chuck it now into the fire, and then it eventually. And I watched the making of this was a legit, not CGI. They blew this thing like crazy.
One of the bigger movie explosions
Awesome.
of all time.
100-foot explosion
Yeah,
in every
cool.
direction.
Yeah.
McGee was talking about people lost eyebrows. They didn't care. It was awesome. It looked cool. It was great.
This is
But
how
then-
you film a big explosion.
Yes.
Not like Spectre
Or Werewolves Within, where you just pan out.
or that one. Yeah, that one was. Yeah,
I give Werewolves Within a pass because they only have a budget of like $2 million.
no, but the
But
movie
then-
Spectre, which has the biggest movie explosion in cinematic history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the explosion at the end of Spectre.
Was it CGI?
No, it's the biggest.
Oh.
Spectre holds the record
legit did it.
for the biggest practical explosion in cinematic history.
They just filmed it crappy, huh?
And they film it like between Daniel Craig and that actress. Like it's like off in the distance behind them. I'm like, you literally put the biggest movie explosion of all time behind two characters in a background?
I never watched Spectre.
Oh, you.
I'm not the biggest Daniel Craig as Bond guy. Personally.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we should probably get back to Terminator Salvation because this is going to be a while.
I've probably seen about half of his movies as Bond. So, all right. So big explosion, but then classic Terminator moment. It just walks out of the flames, just like Terminator did with the tanker in the original one. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. That tracks with the lore you've already established.
And the lore you're about to ruin.
That's right. And then at that point, they're driving away, in their car.
Right.
And the thing releases. The thing's got motorcycle Terminators in its thighs.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
It just like craps them out, and they
It just flexes its quads and boom.
Quad flexor. So that Transformer was female then.
That's right. These motorcycle Terminators were cool as hell. I thought.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They're like just zooming after.
Beanie little red eyes.
Yeah.
Where the headlights are and yeah.
And a great chase sequence. I thought this whole sequence was really well done. It keeps it. Well, they're able to kill the one, and then the other one they drop the ball. They're driving a tow truck.
Yes.
They drop the ball in the tow truck. We end up hooking the Terminator and slapping it around every time they're driving anywhere. It's running into every kind of debris or whatever. So they get to this bridge, and it gets caught because this. Well, not the prisoner transport. They get caught on the bridge as it's coming around, and it hooks them, and they turn and they fly out the freaking door of the tow truck.
Yeah.
Kyle Reese and Star, but they're caught midair by the 100-foot Autobot, who's riding the prisoner transport like a horsey.
Yeah.
It's pony, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Just grabbing people midair.
Just snatching people
Yeah,
midair
yeah.
out from the side of the bridge and dumps them in the prisoner transport.
That Autobot would have been one hell of an outfielder.
It was impressive.
It was impressive.
It was
Boom.
actually impressive.
It's an awesome scene.
It's a great film.
It's another awesome scene in this film
Yes.
of just very well filmed.
The action's great.
The wreckers just barreling through abandoned cars on this gigantic bridge over this mountainous valley.
Got a cow
it's-
catcher on the front of it.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
going,
It-
dude.
I love it. And at this time, this is when John Connor's like, scramble the jets. There's
Right.
people over there.
So 2 planes are coming in.
A-10 Warthogs.
A-10 Warthogs.
Yeah.
One of them's piloted by Blair. The other one is disposable crewman number 6.
Exactly.
Moonblood good and Moonblood hottie.
That's right. She's piloting one of them. Marcus jumps on the prisoner transport, tries to get them out, but is just grabbed and power fisted down by this
He
thing.
is slammed like freaking Hulk slam Loki into the hotel floor.
Did his spine shatter into 1,000 pieces?
No, he's like, ow.
yeah.
Clue number 2 that maybe there's something different about this guy.
Wouldn't you question this? Like, if you're Marcus, you're just like,
I'm feeling pretty okay after that.
I'm pretty sure that it wasn't a secret to the audience.
I could do this?
No, but to him,
That's what I mean. You were him, and you're just
Right,
like,
to him.
oh, hell yeah, let it ride.
Yeah.
that's right.
Let's do this.
It's a tough thing to market when your twist needs
Yes.
to be
But the audience already knows what the twist is.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like it's in the preview. Do you remember the preview for the movie?
Yes, his face is busted up.
It's
goes up the
literally
the
there's
only
a
hope you
cutaway.
have. Right.
Yeah, there's a cutaway in the preview that shows that exposed chest on Sam Worthington of the
Right,
of the Terminator.
But then they made the
exoskeleton.
movie, so everyone knew ahead of time. But then they still made the movie like it was a big reveal.
I think
Right.
I think they were trying
Exactly.
to maybe what they were trying to do is like not defending the writing or how they made it. It's just they were probably trying to make it like a big reveal for him, like the audience is in on it, but
Right.
the character's not.
Right.
Which is
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. No.
He's left. The air support, both planes get shot out of the sky, and the prisoner transport is able to get away, and they are now taking Kyle Reese and Starr to the Skynet facility in San Francisco.
This particular scene.
and crank on fire to danger zone.
I just love how Christian Bale is on the radio. He's like, evasive maneuvers now. I just want to be like, yeah, you think?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I'm the one flying the plane. I got it.
Just keep flying straight. Just keep flying straight.
And then he's like yelling, like the one plane gets shot down, and then Blair's like, "Oh, I got left rotor damage."
Yeah.
and he's like, "Eject now!" I wants to be like, "Yeah, I'm aware. I'm about to." No, I'm just gonna keep flying my
Thanks,
busted ass
Captain
airplane.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Captain
Captain Connor, jackass.
Marcus is able to help her. She's hung up in her parachute on like an old electrical tower.
an old electrical tower.
Not before taking her knife out of her boot.
That's right. Helps cut her down.
Yeah.
They're already giving each other the eyes.
Yeah.
Like in the first scene.
I want to bury my
She
face
literally
in your
has
face.
Yeah.
like her eyes highlighted.
Right.
Yeah, she's got the red war paint on her eyes.
going across there.
Yeah,
And Blair and Marcus are saying, okay, we're going to hike. I know she goes, you can keep going to San Francisco, but why don't you come with me, come meet John Connor. And it's about a day's hike. And I'm sure he'll have to figure out a way to get your friends out of San Francisco. So the two of them start the hike.
And at some point, I want to smell your face. So
Yeah, which will probably be happening shortly. Well, actually, I think she's one that wants to.
yeah, she lays it on
You know
pretty
what?
thick.
He's
I'll
the
tell
one
you
that's
this.
like, no, thank you. Very
Exactly. I'll
He's
tell you
like-
this. Shout out to Blair Williams and Moon Bloodgood because she's a woman that knows what she wants.
Yeah, I like her
Absolutely.
character. In this
She's
movie.
awesome. No,
great.
she's awesome. I loved Moon Bloodgood as Blair Williams.
They get to the first little wherever they're going to camp for the night, and they build a fire. And she is trying to snuggle up on him almost right away.
I just wanted warmth. I'm a machine.
That's what he should have said. I'm looking for body warmth.
Why are you so cold?
Dude, I'd be wondering what my penis looks like if they... if I was a machine. I'd be like, what did they give me?
Did they?
Does it is it like a Swiss Army knife? Or
I don't know. That'd be
like it's like an adjustable, foldable contraption.
now I'm wondering, and I wasn't before. After they start a fire, she tries to snuggle up to him. He's like, "I'm sorry, your forehead's not big enough. I'm not into you."
You don't have movie cancer. Back away.
But she loves the sound of his heart.
But yeah.
What heart?
The one that's going.
Literally, the one that's just like.
Sounds like a jet engine.
I'm gonna be like, wow, why you got that 120
This brings a whole
beats
new
per
meaning
minute
to
there,
the term.
sir?
And because this is a movie, bandits show up.
Right.
Post-apocalyptic bandits have to show up.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Played by one of the best Hollywood stuntmen ever. Because he always plays. I don't even remember his name. I just know that guy who's always
They're
a bad
bandits.
guy who gets beat up by every single action.
and in this
hero.
case, they're donkey hunters, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, "Oh, we got us a donkey." And I'm like, what the? Okay, of all the weird things I've heard people say in these scenes.
Yeah.
But they get, because Marcus isn't there for some reason, and they're wrestling with Moon, or
right.
Blair, who does a decent job fighting back.
Talk about a total scene jump. It's like raining.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I got a shoulder wound." And it's like you said, they're like giving each other the eyes, and she's like taking her,
Right.
stuff off to treat her shoulder wound in the rain.
Right.
And then it's like, cut to rain is stopped. She's just chilling by the fire. Where did Marcus go? We have no idea.
Donkey hunters
But
show
we
up.
got donkey hunters now. So
Right. And they're like, well, we found us a donkey. And then, of course, Marcus comes out and takes them apart one
Yes.
by one. Literally, like,
breaks a 2x4 over the one's
one's
back.
head.
Man.
until there's one guy left. And all of a sudden, when before Blair was trying to come on, guys, we're on the same team. And the machines are the enemy.
Yeah.
They're like, whatever, we're just looking for some donkeys. Now the guy's like, oh, we got to stick together. We're going to win this war.
Right. She shoots him in the thigh.
The thigh. And, it's a bonding moment for Marcus and for Blair.
Yeah.
Right? They really get closer together.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at headquarters, John Connor and the rest of them test the signal on a Decepticon.
Meanwhile, back at Batman HQ.
Listening to my mom talk brings her insanity.
All right, but the thing they tested on is straight up a Decepticon, straight out of Transformers, right?
They
water
did.
bot.
Once again, it's the
Hydrobot.
the scorpion tail bot.
Right.
I thought they tested on the flying.
That was the second one.
Oh, okay.
The first one, they're holding down and strapping down the little.
I was wondering
snake
if that
one.
looked very familiar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
did they borrow this from Michael Bay?
Yeah, they had to have.
The first Transformers was out at that point, right?
2007.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And this beat Revenge of the Fallen to theaters. Because
Yeah.
Revenge of the Fallen was June of 2009.
They find out that the signal works. They call command, and command's like, all right, we're going to destroy everything. Well, give me a chance to evac the prisoners. No evac. We're just going to level the place, common.
Yeah, typical Michael Ironside.
Michael Ironside. This is war, Connor.
This is war. We don't have time for this.
We don't have
Consequences of leadership.
Right.
I need my scotch and my cigar. We don't have time for this crap.
Meanwhile, Blair and Marcus are almost back to base, and they come up on this magnetic minefield. And they've got a little resistance thing that they've drawn on. Just walk due west, you'll be good. But Marcus does catch a mine that attaches itself right to his calf.
Oh.
Right?
Must have been another hint.
And another hint, which we'll know definitively in about 30 seconds.
Yes.
Because the thing blows up, and it cuts to him being rushed in paramedic style
Right.
into this,
What
the
happened?
doctor's office.
He stepped on a landmine. I'd be like, well, he's in really good shape for that.
Yeah, right? Oh, and then you just hear Bryce Dallas Howard, who we haven't mentioned yet in the entire time we've been talking about this, because she does nothing.
Except for this one masterful look.
She's a crappy
There's
actress.
no reason for Kate to be in this movie.
Bryce Dallas.
I love Bryce Dallas Howard. But as I wrote this outline, I could have done this whole outline and never mentioned her once. That's how useless they made her character.
Yeah.
She did nothing.
Kate.
I'm not even fond of her as an actress.
Kate Connor.
Well, that's fine. You don't have to be. Right, but they put Kate in because Kate was in T3 and it's the same writers, right? So I get that, but this poor and they cast a big name actress.
Why don't you just keep the same actress, Claire Danes, from the last movie?
Claire Danes said no. They tried to.
Yeah.
Good job, Claire Danes.
And then
Claire Danes said no.
And then you just give her. I felt
Everybody
terrible for
from
her.
T3 said no.
I'm not even giving her the trash can because it's not her fault. I felt terrible for her. They gave her nothing to do.
No,
every time John Connor is waxing poetical about whatever, her job is to sit there and stare at him
And hold her pregnant belly.
and hold her pregnant belly.
I didn't even know she was pregnant half
No?
the time. No, I actually didn't know she was pregnant at all.
Yeah, yeah. She's like literally she like stands up and does the typical like movie pregnancy thing where like they have to hold her belly.
Right,
It's
right.
funny now. My wife looks at that and like I've been pregnant twice and I never did that.
All right, so she what the masterful look you're talking about when she realizes
this
she
is
opens
the one.
him up.
Yes,
to see that
this
he's
is
a
the
machine.
one part I like. Her face, it may be slightly overdone, but you know it is like it's an FPV shot, obviously from Marcus. So he's looking up. You see Common hovering over. Bryce Dallas Howard's hovering over.
Common is one of John's soldiers who we also haven't talked about because he does nothing. Also,
I
He
think
does one important thing.
I think he was there just because him and McGee are friends.
He does one important thing, and that's at the end.
Yeah.
It's true.
But all right, so anyway,
No,
go
but
ahead.
you know they like you hear the sound effects of like the shirt ripping and it's like whoosh.
They're opening his chest.
Yeah,
up.
they're opening up his chest and Bryce Dallas Howard just does that like
She saw the
like
size.
deer in the headlights
Yeah.
look like
That
this
switches to anger.
switches
Yeah, I think it's good. It's really good.
and she looks up, she's like Barnes.
Yeah.
And Common just comes in with the shotgun, poof, knocks him out.
That's right.
But I give Bryce props for this one
Yeah.
Here's the other
particular
thing.
glimmer, this little glimmer of something for her to do in the movie was this.
Why did you knock him out?
Well, once again, it's like dude just stepped on a landmine.
Right. So that's the
But
one thing. If
let's knock him out with
I
a
was
shotgun.
Marcus, I got blown up by a landmine. I have no idea I'm a machine, and then you have a crony hit me in the face with a gun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find that guy. I'm gonna beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Like,
I hear you.
I guess
like,
that's
people
another
don't
plot hole there,
understand.
huh?
It's like, wait, why would you treat somebody that way? Just why? Why? Why is that okay? Just hit someone in the face. No, he's already blown up. Let's just hit him in the face.
How do they knock him out? He's a machine.
Yeah, that's another question. How they knock him out? He's a
Oh,
machine.
his off switch is right between his eyes.
Look at it. Look at it. Like, look, he has fallen. He has fallen off of a mountain valley bridge.
He
has
slammed.
been body slammed by a King Kong Terminator. A plane crashed on him.
That's right.
He stepped on a landmine,
Yeah.
But common.
with the butt of a shotgun.
Got a strong enough tricep to
That was
come
it.
down.
You know,
Yeah.
he had just been through too much at this point.
That's fine.
So they hit him right in the basal ganglia or whatever.
I just thought maybe the off switch for Terminators was right here.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You just walk around
off.
going, pew, pew,
Yeah.
and Terminators just go, good night.
That'll be on. Hey, that'll be next week's tip of the day on the fireside chat with John Connor. All right.
That's right.
We found a weakness between their eyes.
Oh my gosh. All right. So now Marcus is chained up over a giant chasm like Star Wars style, right? And
Once again to some ridiculously heavy
Yes.
type of equipment that you're just like, how did men
This
just
scene-
raise that to their
irritated me so much.
Yeah.
Because they all act like idiots.
and so now when they finally show him, he's cut open, all of his machine parts on his face, his arms, his chest especially is all exposed.
But they should all know this by now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, John, you dealt with this when you were a kid, you idiot.
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you shocked by this?
Yes, at this point, John should remember that.
Like,
He does though.
he doesn't act like it. That was my biggest problem with the ending.
Well, he's even amazed by the T-800 when in the beginning, the first, I can't believe they're making these with
Right. He's just
That's
like,
what it is. His amazement though is the timeline because it's happening ahead of schedule.
It seemed to me like he was more just that it was happening at all, is the way that I took it.
That's just they didn't elaborate that it was happening faster. Elaborated they just made it sound like it made it seem like the first 3 movies never happened.
Right.
Because he lays eyes on Marcus, and Marcus is just like, "Do you know what you are?" It's like, no,
Right. And they can't say, well, it hasn't happened yet because Kyle hasn't been sent yet, when he already knows about Kyle and everything from that all before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just a little bit more like throwback would have been nice, like acknowledgement, like, oh, you're one of those. I remember, or like having a conversation, like, yeah, I had one too.
Right.
He protected me.
Something like
Instead
that.
of we've been at war forever. I don't know who you are, dude.
Here's the thing. At this point, when Marcus is locked up and he's strung up and they're all sitting there interrogating him, there's John, there's Kate, and there's Barnes, and there's Blair.
There's belly holding.
And and Blair's the only one that wants to save him. Like, you know,
I would too.
no
Be like,
disassemble. You know, literally, I think they use the word disassemble. And John is being a huge jerk, right?
He is.
And they're all like, "You don't even. You're a machine. You're gonna kill us as soon as we let you out. You're gonna kill everyone in this room." And
Didn't you just have a machine, 2 machines? Did you have like a best friend machine when you were
Yeah.
a boy? And now you're like, not all machines must die.
the problem that this does for the script is that the script is written in such a way that up to this point, we've not seen much of John Connor. Marcus is basically the protagonist of the film as it's come to this point in the movie,
That's also true.
right?
Yeah, like
So
this.
you've now pitted John Connor in an antagonizing way against the protagonist, which sets John up to be unlikable by the audience because we're all sitting there going, no, give him a chance. No, give him a chance. You've now made John into an antagonist in a way in the film when we're supposed to be, our hearts are supposed to be with John.
Right.
Instead, the opposite is happening and we feel for Marcus. So it's just lots of problems from a
Team
writing
Marcus
standpoint.
all the
with
way.
that.
There was a lot of convoluted stories back then.
It was MCG taking
Yeah.
a giant whiz all over Cameron's work.
I think so.
Well,
For sure.
That's why he'll always be called McGriddle.
McGriddle was just the director.
He's an okay. I don't care if you make movies. I don't care if you have hot babes do things to you. Good for you. And you're in the studio is a
right.
bigger ding dong.
Meanwhile,
Back at headquarters.
ding dong. Kyle is at Skynet, in the cattle call. They're like marching him through there.
Right.
And he is singled out by the computer. They do facial recognition. Don't ask me how they know what
Wait a
Kyle
minute.
Reese's freaking face looks like. Meh, meh.
Wait a minute, it's Kyle Reese.
Yeah,
Pull
when
from the
they
line.
have his driver's license, how do they know what his face looks
Wait
like?
a minute. Who's that? Hey, look at me. You.
They hacked the
Look.
LAD and B.
Look at me. Grab him. Grab him.
Grab him. Grab him. Boom. And they again snatch him up like Granny got
How
snatched
did they
up.
not snatch up everybody and like got people like if King Kong grabbed King Kong grabbed the person, he grabbed like 2 or 3 people,
Right.
and then those 2 or 3 people just
With like fall out or whatever, right?
It's like
Right,
these guys
right.
got precise finger grabbing.
Yeah, they do. But
It must
again,
be those machines must be amazing to each other.
Kyle Reese has been putting his
They
own
know what
stuff.
to.
just to get to what this all happened. So now we're back at Resistance. Blair lets Marcus out of his prison because Common is a moron, and they escape. Okay, she's like, Common,
John wants to see you.
John definitely wants to talk to you.
What does he want to talk to me about? John. He didn't say.
I'll just leave you here, and we all know you're the only one that wants him to get out. But you cool? And all she does to prove her loyalty is shooting a robot that she knows is not going to hurt him.
I like the look on Sam Worthington's face when he gets shot. It's kind of like, I'm gonna.
Yeah, she shoots him to. She shoots him to prove that she's willing to shoot him.
Yeah,
but it's like whatever. And I like how he's walking away. He's just like, watch him.
Right.
Once again, like, what'd you think I was gonna do?
Meanwhile, John is waxing poetic in his bedroom. That thing, I looked in his eyes, and he believes he's human. And again, Bryce Dallas Howard's doing her job of I stare at you while you talk.
Yeah,
with those big eyes.
And
those
then
big Bryce Dallas Howard eyes.
She lets him out.
Moonblood good dude.
Blair lets out Marcus, and they slide down this chain, and they get out through one of the grates underneath. And there's this whole escape sequence through the minefield, which was phenomenal.
Awesome.
Another one taker.
Just great.
Love it.
Really good.
Love it.
Intense. Well shot. The no score, which I think worked for this part. It's all it is gunfire and bombs. And really well done. They often don't do this in movies. The ambient soldiers yelling instructions and directions to each other that you can't even see off screen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It was much better in this scene than the first scene.
Yes.
Much better.
Fantastic.
Yeah. This is why I was so conflicted with this movie.
Yeah.
It was the cast and crew in this movie, majority of the cast, but the crew. This goes for the same with how I felt about Rolling Vengeance. Like, the behind the scenes work on this movie was phenomenal.
Incredible.
The writing and some of the directing and the studio overhead are dumb.
I honestly don't even think McGee was on the chopping block. I feel like he was more with the crew of like, let's make this awesome.
McGee made the greatest sins of all time at the end of this movie.
Yeah, which we'll talk to. Which he did have control over, and he made some creative calls.
He made the choice to do what he did.
There's a couple things. Yes, we'll get to it.
We'll get to it. But you're right. I agree with you.
You do not do that. When someone lays a foundation for you and hands you the two greatest American action movies of all time on a silver platter, and you're required to make a sequel to them.
And now you get to play in that sandbox.
And you get to play in the sandbox.
That someone else built.
You do not crap in that sandbox.
That's what I'm saying.
I think he's a scapegoat.
Well, I don't agree.
But we're going to get to it.
We'll get to it. All right, but anyway, this escape sequence, cool as hell. All right?
Yes, very cool.
Yes.
I will say that
Once
the Resistance, we're all trying to shoot Blair. Their aim is worse than the A-Team, okay? Because how did they not? I mean, I understand Marcus could take shots and survive. How does Blair get out of here?
Dude,
there's so many bullets flying around.
Dude,
that's even like the Terminator with the Gatling gun, though. It's
like Navajo.
She could.
Yeah.
I think she is Native American. And
she is.
Moonblood is Native American.
I guess now it's called indigenous.
So she's one with the Matrix of nature. So
yeah, absolutely.
Smell the bullets on the wind or something. I don't know.
I would watch a Moonblood.
Is that offensive? I'm not trying to be. I just don't know how to say it. I'm literally trying to be.
I'm not trying to be offensive. They just keep changing the labels on everything now.
That's right.
Right.
John Connor. Eventually, they're crossing the river. Moon gets captured before this, and so Blair.
Well,
gets
they
captured.
trick the.
Yes.
They pull the old a rope-a-dope. The switcheroo.
Marcus puts his jacket on her.
Yeah.
So she get captured.
She lays down.
Could get away.
Yeah. She lays down with Marcus's jacket, and they're like, "Oh, we got him!" And then they roll her over. She's like, "Ha! Gotcha."
Meanwhile, he's now crossed the river and is run through the forest. And this is when now Connor, who's again up in the helicopter, decides that it's
crashes
time.
another helicopter.
But before that, he decides it's time to let's drop some tiger balm on this jungle's nuts.
Oh yes, yes, okay. That's right. We get a napalm sequence.
That's a detonator, jackass. Dude's up here to speak in America. I got 200 pounds of shit in your pants. I didn't know we're ready to go.
That's literally what I thought of, because it was the same kind of explosion from Tropic Thunder.
You know what? You referenced Tuk Tuk and Ling Ling on our last episode. That's amazing.
Anyway,
God
is it not the same explosion basically from Tropic Thunder?
It is, but it's the same explosion. It's the same explosion from like all Vietnam movies.
Apocalypse Now.
The beginning of Apocalypse Now into We Were Soldiers with Mel Gibson.
Dog of War.
Yeah. Platoon in the background with the village
of War is actually
up.
a good movie too.
But the chopper is then hovering too close to the river, and this is when the Decepticons jump out of the water. And this is how he crashes this other chopper right there. He's fighting off.
I call
the
them
pilot.
I call them dick biters.
And the other pilot,
Yeah,
the other
there you
pilot
go.
did pretty good fighting these things off too. And they end up coming down, and eventually it's just Bale and Marcus left.
Right.
And Bale has him. He's like, no bullets have been able to take me down yet. No one's put one in your heart. But they ultimately come to an understanding. He says, I can get you into the Skynet facility in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we can save Kyle Reese. And he gives him a communicator and says, all right, contact me on this. But he doesn't tell any of John Connor does not share that he's now in cahoots with Marcus.
Right.
How can I trust you?
He just says he got away, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get the classic look on his face. I'm your only hope.
I'm your only hope.
Sam Worthington, as much as I like Bale, Sam Worthington carried the movie.
He was great. I was going to say this for the awards, but let's just say it now. Sam Worthington, who was a afterthought in casting, a recommendation from James Cameron when McGeehan went to him to talk about Terminator lore and all, because he was in the middle of making Avatar.
I'm grateful they didn't get Nick Stahl. No offense to Nick Stahl.
No.
Nick Stahl was,
But he was in the middle of-
It was a Kmart electronic salesman compared to
Terrible.
Sam Worthington.
But they were in the middle of making Avatar when Cameron was consulting on this movie with McGee.
Right.
And it was Cameron who suggested, middle of Avatar,
Right.
that Sam Worthington come and play Marcus. Mm-hmm. And it was like, and so it was an afterthought from this production team standpoint. Oh yeah, we'll make him Marcus. And he killed it.
No, it was very serendipitous.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love Sam
you're a
Worthington.
dick.
I don't understand why Sam Worthington has not gotten to be a huge star. I know he's in the biggest movies of all time, the Avatar movies.
He doesn't need to be. That's
But
the thing.
beyond that, Sam Worthington is awesome in almost everything. I haven't seen all his movies,
Man on a Ledge is good.
but in the stuff I've seen him in, I don't know how this guy isn't.
I was
just
gonna say,
making
he's-
big movies.
I feel like he's just not a good enough actor in the sense of like he's never gonna get those Oscar baity roles, but he's also
he doesn't
not.
need to do
But to do these types of movies, he
I
would
mean, yeah,
crush all day.
But
like
look at all
you
these-
said, Man on a Ledge. Man on a Ledge is a very good movie. He
Yeah.
was in The Debt, which was a very good 70s
And he te-
espionage
And
thriller.
he teamed up with Schwarzenegger to do the David Ayer movie, Sabotage.
Oh yeah, he was Monster in Sabotage. That's right. That's like one of his best roles.
I've
Yeah.
always said this is how much I think of him.
Yeah.
In the right role, and everybody's got to be set up for success and not be miscast into a wrong role. So in the right role for Sam Worthington, he crushes. And everyone knows my favorite game series of all time is Mass Effect. If they ever made Mass Effect into a series or movie, I would want Sam Worthington to play Commander Shepard.
Oh yeah.
100.
Yeah. I think yeah.
Yeah,
He would
100%.
kill it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, Worthington. I don't know why, like you said, why does he not have a bigger career? Maybe it's by choice. You know,
Yeah, it probably has to be by choice.
It could be. Maybe he
Yeah.
doesn't want to. Maybe he's happy tooling around on his ranch or whatever he's doing and
he was happy being Jake Sully, and
all that stuff. And to come back every time he wanted to do another Avatar movie.
they're like, "Hey, can you come back and be in the highest-grossing movie of all time again?" Yeah, sure,
sure.
I'll be there.
Just carry that.
James,
Yeah, okay. I'll
James
just-
Cameron calls it. You go,
Don't,
yes.
don't worry, I'll just carry that movie for you.
All right. Michael Ironside and John Connor yell into the CBs at each other for a while, again over the same thing.
It's kind of funny because
exactly what it sounds
you got Michael Ironside and Christian Bale having a back and forth conversation on a radio.
Right.
So yeah, it is.
And it's
just
over the same thing. I want to evac the prisoners. No, we're just going to go in and blow them all up.
Connor.
So John gets on the horn. I'm calling the resistance. And asks all of them to hold off. Okay? Just
Trust me.
Trust me, bro. Like, why don't you tell them why?
But he can't.
Why can't he?
It'd be too much information.
Why would it be too much? He's like, when they tell you to attack Skynet, I know you all want to destroy Skynet, but don't. Okay.
My daddy's there.
Trust me, bro. Right? Like all he has to do is say, "Oh, give me a chance to get the prisoners out before you all blow it up." That's all he had to say. But instead, he's like, "Just trust me. Don't do it."
Maybe, well, like misinformation. What if Skynet is listening? Because I can't.
They're not listening to his little radio.
There's no Wi-Fi.
Once again,
Or they would all know
once
where they
again,
were.
And tell me this once again: how does Skynet, a global artificial intelligence, communications, cybernetic, integrated system, just not know where these dudes with
That's what I'm
transistor radios are?
I know. That's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing.
Just
Maybe there's guys as females.
All right.
That's
so,
what it was.
So now John Connor goes, to his guys. He's now going off to Skynet on his own, knowing that Marcus is going ahead of him. And he turns around to Common and his wife and says, "I'll be back."
Then cue
oh no, that's right.
And then cue the Guns N' Roses song from
that's
Terminator
right.
2.
That's right.
Yeah, you could be mine by Guns N' Roses.
So they've already established he remembers that he liked that song.
So he remembers he likes the song, but he doesn't like Terminators apparently.
No.
He remembers that he had a Terminator best friend, but doesn't like.
No, he forgot
Terminators.
about that. Yeah, exactly.
In this movie, he doesn't. But anyway, dude,
It was very emotional for him. Maybe he just blocked it out.
dude hijacks a motorcycle Terminator, which I thought was really cool.
That was cool.
That was a cool scene.
Rides in like he's on the bat cycle again.
Right.
At this point, now we're into the finale here. Marcus walks into the perimeter of the Skynet base, and one of those gigantic Terminators you saw in the whenever they'd go flashbacks to in the older Terminator movies with the big giant guns.
Yeah.
And it scans his face,
And he's just like,
and it says on the screen, Marcus, like its face IDs him or whatever, and then it lowers the guns. And there's actually a great moment there from Sam Worthington of him realizing he's a machine. Like he already knew he was a machine, but then when he gets okayed by these guys,
Right.
there was he sunk a little bit. You could tell.
Yeah. Validation.
Right. And he walks inside to the main hub of Skynet and downloads his backstory, basically, right? Newspaper articles, whatever. He's catching up on all the lore. Yeah. He's watching Terminator 2.
It's exactly what's happening.
you seem like you have an issue right now. Every time James has been speaking, you've been rolling your eyes over there going,
because we're talking about Terminator Salvation.
But isn't that, I basically just wanted a shot of him watching one of the first Terminator movies.
It's literally what it yes.
It's
It's
catching him up on everything.
And then
it's current events.
Right. Sarah Connor is talking about Sarah Connor, all these people, right?
There's just ways that it's done good in movies.
Yeah.
Like
You didn't think it was done good?
like in The Fifth Element.
Or like in Batman versus Superman when they introduced the Justice League through little zip files on a computer. Anyway.
Wow.
Let's keep going.
Wow.
So Marcus
passive aggressive there was not noted at all.
He's allowed to have his opinion.
All right. Marcus, after he downloads the backstory, watches all the previous Terminator movies. He's up. He knows what's up now. John is infiltrating the facility, and he's running around inside Skynet going, Kyle Reese!
Yep. Where is he?
And another thing. Okay, I know you guys, you're going to give me a hard time about this, Ryan, but I'm going to drive another truck through a plot hole here.
Yeah.
Why on earth would Skynet need touchpads and buttons and slides to open doors? Why would those human interfaces be there?
Well,
Only for John to be able to use them and get in the facility.
maybe the production designer thought it looked cool.
That's probably what it is. But again, you're going outside the movie. I'm staying within the movie.
But
there's
movie.
no reason in the movie. It's crappy writing.
But movie.
You can have a movie without having touchpads. That's stupid. But you can still have the movie. I know it's a movie, Ryan. I'm aware of the fact that it's a movie. You can still have a movie. Have the door just be open. Just instead, they put in a touchpad that only a human would need.
They got freaking iPads in the walls.
For no reason. Why is it there?
Tic Tac, sir?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I thought...
I know it's a movie.
Somebody
Write
get this
it
guy.
differently.
Somebody get James a Mentos. He needs to chill.
It's the argument that gets me the most agitated. It's a movie. I know that. You can write it in a way that's not stupid.
See what I mean?
Okay.
I told you. You give yourself an aneurysm talking to him.
It already doesn't make sense that a human would be able to. Anyway.
No, we're agreeing with you.
All right.
I warned you.
Carice. When John's running around, that Marcus is literally getting a makeover. All of a sudden, Marcus wakes up and he looks good as new again.
It was half man, half machine. Now he's also just back to Sam Worthington.
He didn't want to wear the makeup anymore.
Budget.
Right.
Budgetary constraints. I say that they always run out of money at the end.
Yeah.
That's my joke.
Old seven head Helena Bottom Carter comes out on top or on the monitor there. And it's now Skynet just using her likeness to speak to him, the AI, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, guess what? You did exactly what we wanted you to do. So thanks, because you gave us Kyle Reese and you led John Connor here. So it looks like you're one of us after all. LOL. Bye.
Yeah.
We create. Right? You're the first
first infiltrator bot.
Infiltrator.
Or whatever they say. Infiltration unit.
You're a Schwarzenegger before Schwarzenegger.
Right. And
yeah.
Also, can I say they cut back for a second? The sub where Michael Ironside is now blasted that signal because they use it to shut down Skynet.
Yeah.
And this is right when the AI is telling Marcus, yeah, that signal is a fake also.
Yeah.
So we're just tracking you with that signal.
Right.
And right away, the the drones fly in and just blow the submarine right out of the water.
I'll tell you, the other commander, because you got Michael Ironside and then another random commander. I love it when he just turns around and he's like, we let him right to us.
That's right.
And they're just like, well,
it's another one of
got
those,
nothing. We got 3 seconds.
occasionally in a movie, you get a chance as an actor to do that I'm about to die look, and they both did a fine job.
I was gonna say that the guy who's not Michael Ironside, he like nailed it. I was like, dude, I felt it.
Not to get too far of a sidetrack because we're almost to the end here, but I think the person that's done the best I'm about to die look of all time was Jeff Daniels in Speed. When they go into the house, Harry's not Harry. He was Harry.
Or what about the bad guy in The Last Starfighter?
That one also.
Yeah. What happens now? We die.
That's another good one. But
gotta be
Jeff Daniels when he goes into why can't I suddenly pull the
Howard Payne's house?
Yes, thank you.
The House of Pain.
Howard Payne's house.
He goes into.
He does that great where he like swallows. Boom.
Well, he even like tremors. He's got like this little his like a little head nod tremor thing going on, and then just.
The worst I'm about to die face it belongs to Jim Caviezel in Escape Plan.
Oh, yeah, that's not a good one.
Because he
oversells that one
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so right about now, John has discovered the T-800 because he's going around cell to cell going, Corey!
And then he looks in, he goes, that's a one swole body.
Yo, Kyle is huge. He's ripped.
I love how like the prisoners are like running everywhere. Like everyone's door has opened.
Except for Kyle's. Right, because John hacked the system with the human interface. Yeah.
With the iPad in the wall.
Yeah. And boom, here comes the T-800 and music hits. And they zoom in on a fully CG Arnold Schwarzenegger from T1.
Fully. With just a very convenient shadow over the package.
Yes, because he's naked.
Yes, he's naked.
His buddy did the motion. Schwarzenegger's buddy,
so there's a body
Roland Kinginger, did the body.
Rolling
the body double, and Schwarzenegger lent his likeness to his face because they looked pretty similar in facial. And
as 2009 digital humans go, I thought it was fine.
It was better than Jeff Bridges.
It was better than Jeff Bridges.
I was going to say.
Certainly it's better than Scorpion King.
Yeah. Better than... Oh, that was... it's funny when you think of like that facial replacement human type thing. It's really like Scorpion King was one of the OGs of terrible facial replacement.
Some of the best delay reactions of all time.
That's Arnold Vosloo's.
Yes.
So I can't wait till we talk about that.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Good old... Oh, man.
Yes. But a decent... I mean, it's obviously computer.
No, it's still in its infancy.
But it counts. He did make the movie better.
He did
and he
make it
wasn't even in it. Only his face was.
It's better with him in it.
We're already answering that question.
We are because it. But it kicked off. You're like, sweet, let's go.
That's right.
And then John, the other stupid thing, Christian Bale no sells the fact that it's the Schwarzenegger Terminator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he remember
react at all to like, oh crap, it's my buddy. Oh crap, it's my G. Oh crap. Or he's just like,
or even I know it's not my friend, but I know what this is.
Yes.
I know exactly what this is.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't sell it.
Yeah.
And instead he's like, how do I kill this thing? I don't understand.
You had the music build up, he punches out of the thing, and he has the great
and all you needed was a zoom in on Bale going, you.
Right? Yeah.
Or just saying the F word.
Or something.
Like F.
Right, or something. But something.
He doesn't sell it.
Some kind of recognition.
No, there's nothing. There's
Arnold, I know
there.
he was busy being the governor of California, but he could have voiced one line. Given the fact that he comes out of there, he said, you're Terminator, whatever, or the fact that he's had interactions with Batman before, he could just came out of the thing going, cool party, or something. All right, and just throw back.
Man.
What killed the resistance? The Ice Age. I mean, it was cool. I was sad he never spoke, but I know why he didn't speak. Arnold's not doing lines.
No.
But it was cool.
He was credited actually in this movie.
Yeah, well, for the
facial likeness. I paused it on the Prime Video thing and it said Arnold Schwarzenegger himself.
Yeah.
It was cool.
So he was credited
Linda Hamilton redid the tapes.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know why.
And it was worse.
It was worse. It was way worse.
Because it was faster than she did it before.
Yeah.
It was like
she did it like it was, she got a paycheck to do some exposition
right.
versus at the end of Terminator.
It was a total mail.
When she's actually performing like this emotional tape for her unborn child.
No.
But
it
no.
was like her reading words off a piece of paper.
I mean, it's, to be honest, because I had forgotten about that that she re-recorded it. And then like after seeing Dark Fate, because me and Bob talked about this, it was like, Jamie Lee Curtis came back for Halloween and totally committed to it.
Yep.
Linda Hamilton came back for Terminator and just
mailed it.
I don't even know, like crapped on it 6 ways from Sunday. I could not stand Linda Hamilton in Dark Fate.
She did fine. There were scenes where she was good, and there were scenes where she was bad. It was never like it was. And
she drove me nuts.
That it's like that. Dumb and Dumber 2 with Jim Carrey. Like the biggest complaint about Dumb and Dumber 2 is Jim Carrey, because it's like everyone else nails it, but Jim couldn't seem to get Lloyd.
It's like he couldn't find Lloyd again. It had been too long.
Right.
He didn't remember how to play him, so instead he was doing an imitation of himself in Dumb and Dumber 1.
Right.
Where Jeff Daniels nailed Harry and and Jim Carrey. I'm not knocking
I
Jim
love
Carrey.
Jim Carrey, but there was something off about his performance in the second one.
It's the same as Linda Hamilton. It was been 30 years, and
some people can go back and find it.
Yeah.
I think Harrison Ford does when he plays Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can't ever slip back into it.
I think what Jamie Lee Curtis was, she's already been in 5 movies of Halloween over the course of the timeline.
And some recently is like the late 90s. And,
like she did the 2 in the late or like the early
H2O.
aughts in the late 90s.
Sure, and then she did the one in the early aughts.
Yeah.
Halloween.
All right,
8.
well, let's get back to this.
But anyway.
The T-800 and starts fighting with John Connor, and this is one of the other things that just bugs the crap out of me. And I know what you're going to say. Well, then he would be dead. But it doesn't make it. You can stage the fight better. Why doesn't this Terminator ever just pick up John and rip him in half the same way he rips his T-600 in half? All the Terminator ever does is just throw John across the room.
He's playing with him.
Allowing him to, but he's a Terminator. He's not a plaything. He's a Terminator.
Right. Doesn't feel pity or remorse.
All he does is throw John.
Yeah.
Do you throw people?
And he's
nice.
And he throws him away to where he's helping him get away from him by keep throwing him further away.
Yeah.
That's true. The way they stage the fight is annoying.
Why'd you throw John?
Okay. And then he picks up a T-600 who Kyle Reese is in the middle of a fight with.
Sure.
And just rips him in half. Kyle uses John's intel from earlier and messes up the targeting system with a knife, which was a nice little callback.
Right.
But ultimately, the T-800 just destroys that Terminator.
Yeah.
And like, well, that could have helped you, bro, but whatever. And keeps on marching towards the two of them.
Yeah.
And during this fight, John discovers, and this is another plot hole, is he discovers the nuclear fuel cells for the T-800s, right?
Right.
Except that the T-800 didn't have those nuclear fuel cells. That was established in T3 for the T-850, which was the upgraded model that Arnold had those fuel cells. And so if this is just the beginning of the T-800, they shouldn't be there.
And John Brancato and Michael Ferris wrote that movie.
That's what I'm saying.
So they basically just forgot about their own plot.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Because he uses it at the end. He pulls it out of himself and puts it in the Terminatrix's mouth and says,
"You're Terminator."
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The whole thing, and blows her up or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All right. But we're okay, fine. He's going to wire those things to go nuclear and blow up. And he actually drops the trigger, which he doesn't realize, but Star picks it up before she gets out of it.
Sure.
Atta girl, Star.
Atta girl.
Yeah. Well, in tandem.
Keep your mouth shut, but keep doing good things. We don't want to hear from you.
Yeah.
I hear your voice.
We don't like children actors. But good job.
All whilst this is going on, then we also get Worthington arguing with computerized Helena Bonham Carter.
Who is telling him,
Hey,
congratulations,
I actually
you killed
enjoyed
John
that
Connor.
scene.
Yeah.
There's one scene I actually enjoyed that. I know you were making fun of it earlier. We ripped it out, no problem.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy that, which she's like, "You can't save John Connor." He goes, "Watch me." I like the delivery.
It's a great
that was
delivery.
cool.
Yeah.
It's once again just one of those scenes where it's just like, all right, well, now we got all this going on over here. So let's like cut back and forth to this and then back to this. And then Worthington's just like, all right, well, I'm just going to take my chip out of my head.
He rips it out of his skin, the back of his head.
Like it's just under, like it's just right there.
Under his hair.
It's,
Terminator.
It's not as if it's like built into,
Ryan.
you know.
It's a movie.
Dang it. That's how that feels?
The T-800 can't do that. Marcus would roll like, I can rip out my own control
The
chip.
T-800 can't take out his own
And the
chip.
Terminator would be like,
Good for you.
Oh, went back to 1.
Oh my gosh. All right. So while this is all happening, Marcus shows up and tries to help fight the Terminator, but apparently Padme taught the Terminator the 5-finger death punch because he freaking stops his heart with a punch.
Yeah.
The T-800 does. Marcus's heart is now stopped and he's on the ground. John, at this point, is now crawling backwards through the T-800 is marching on him in this industrial factory.
Oh, yeah. The industrial factory.
You guys ready for this?
Callback. T2.
So-
Sure.
Here's what happens.
Oh. I can't wait, James.
He shoots a latch above the Terminator's head, and hot molten lava pours out. Not just a little, but completely submerges the Terminator in hot liquid magma.
So,
I
let's
think it was
jump.
metal.
Let's go. We got to go back in time to 1991 in a similar situation.
There's pre-established lore?
There is.
No.
Made by a 10 times better director.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
With
What
10
happened?
times better actors.
What happened in 1991?
So, Sarah Connor, there she was, has the T-1000 on the ledge, pumping shotgun shells into him. She ran out of bullets. She turns around.
What's she going to do?
Schwarzenegger's right there on a conveyor belt with a giant Schwarzenegger-like grenade launcher aiming right at the T-1000. Shoots it.
It has a
Explodes.
50-foot kill radius, but don't worry, it didn't kill anybody else. But yes.
Exactly. Explodes the T-1000. Falls into the same substance that this fast-forward T-800, who
Less
is
advanced.
the same model as the one Terminator
Who also
in 1991.
Because they also sunk the T-800 in 1991.
Right. So this right here, famously, the famous scene that everyone rips off now, the thumbs up scene.
Yeah.
So the T-1000, I'm getting all scribbly scrabbly here.
2 different Terminators were killed by lava.
So 2 different Terminators were killed by lava. The T-1000 and the T-800 from 1991 with the thumbs up. Fast forward to their timeline of 2018. And this absolutely does nothing.
Nothing.
Sorry for the F word.
It shakes it off.
It gets up because McGriddle apparently put the invulnerability code in.
It goes from being on the ground completely submerged.
Yes!
It stands up and shakes it off. He's like, I'm a little steamy now. I'm a little hot.
Thank you. I'm steamy.
That's it. It totally just
This is where you have taken a movie that was kind of up and down a little bit, great action sequence, great special effects, and you totally whip out your weenie and pee on someone's hot dog.
Yes, because here's what you could have had a great moment here. It could have been the end of this Terminator. John, if he had remembered his life, could have had a moment of realization, of remembrance of how the Terminators were killed before.
That would have been a cool flashback
and
sequence.
flashback, and he's like, oh my gosh, sees the thing, shoots it because he knows it will kill him.
Yes, but no, don't add any cool creativity of flashback, no remembrance of any previous Terminator movies whatsoever. It's like the whole time he acts like he's never seen a human Terminator
and
before.
then take the one of only 2 ways that's ever been established that these things could be killed. One was crushed, the other 2 were drowned in lava, and you take that very famous way to kill a Terminator and just go, yeah, but not this one, which is supposed to be like the first T-800 ever, a less advanced version of probably both of those other 2 Terminators.
Shakes it off completely. Ryan, you got a look on your face. And I don't know why when I ask you this question, but I am. I want to know your thoughts on that one scene.
Well,
when you saw that.
I'll tell you. Perhaps it was a matter of voluminous fluid thermodynamics.
Oh, shut up. I'm cutting your mic off. Your mic has been cut off. All right, Ryan's mic has been cut off. Let's see if he can earn it back here in a minute. Mom's back at the table.
I'm sorry for walking away.
No, you're fine. Then he hits him with the.
Oh yeah, so let's go back in time again.
Yeah.
So they literally throw every.
Yes, because then he shoots. So it's like, all right, the molten metal didn't work. Now I'm going to shoot this pipe with this cryogenic substance in it. So now
Good thing that was there.
So now
Liquid
it's like,
nitrogen.
first it went from molten metal to now let's freeze it And once again,
and it freezes it in place for a minute. John gets scratched by it to give him his scar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool way. Terminator gave him his scar. That's fine. But it's now frozen in place. And once the T-800 is frozen, he goes over to Marcus, who's dead on the ground, and just goes, "Come on!"
Oh,
And
dude.
he starts punching him in the chest.
Not like doesn't remember
best.
how.
I'm not a doctor, but every 30 seconds, reaching over and just pounding on someone's sternum, I don't think is going to restart their heart.
hit-
I'm gonna tell you, as someone certified in CPR and AED, doesn't work that way.
He hits him once, waits another 15 seconds.
I
hits him
love
again.
scenes like this. I love scenes like this in movies when they're so blatantly wrong in the
Yes.
sense of CPR. But this one, like, takes the epic cake
Oh, yeah.
of he is like full force. People's elbow dropping on Marcus, just like, come on, just like yelling at him to like wake up. It's like, that's how that
And
works.
then eventually he rips 2 wires out of the wall while the other Terminator is starting to break out of his cold freeze.
Yeah.
And just jolts him back to life. And, now Marcus is back awake again. Right at that moment, John Connor is impaled from behind through the
course he is.
chest
Sure.
by the Terminator.
Right.
And then Marcus gets up and, again, because he's the protagonist of the movie, rips the head off the Terminator.
I did enjoy that
That was cool.
when he did the little pin pop thing on the Terminator and the
Because
emotion.
Marcus was cool. And everybody liked him. And they made John Connor very unlikable.
I like how John Connor gets literally impaled through the heart by a pipe with a diameter of at least 3 inches.
At least.
Tell me that. Then they're like, "Oh, you need a heart transplant."
Yeah.
You don't say.
As they're flying, they gets him to the helicopter.
Meanwhile, Common's wearing sunglasses at night.
Dude, there he goes.
They're flying off. Of course he is. They're flying off in the helicopter. Star hands him the detonator.
Good girl.
Good girl. And like, bro, wait 5 more minutes before pressing that button. Dude hits
Yeah.
a nuke while they're hovering over the facility.
Right.
Pulls a
right.
John McClane thing right
Okay.
there.
And I'm like, could you just wait 30 seconds? Anything, dude.
Could have waited.
Wait something, man. And they get back and he's, on a hospital gurney and they're like, oh, his heart's not going to take it. And so Marcus goes, he can take mine. Give him my heart.
It's a good scene.
It's a good scene.
But this is how
John and him look at each other and nod,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought this was an interesting thing. It gives Kyle Reese the jacket, and I thought for a second, like, wait, this is the jacket that Michael Biehn wore in Terminator 1, but it's not because Michael Biehn didn't get that jacket until he
came back
got it at
naked.
the apparel store.
Yeah, right.
We ripped off some Nike shoes, and then he got the
That's right.
jacket.
Yeah.
But that is Terminator Salvation.
Well, we do get a nice quote.
What's the quote?
No quote.
No fee but what we make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
all the best quotes from the movie they took from James Cameron.
I know.
I hope. Listen, I like Christian Bale, Ryan. I'm not. I'm.
Oh, good for you.
I love his. I get his meltdown on this set of this movie when someone distracted him.
Should we talk? Let's just talk about that real quick.
Where are we
because
going to begin? Because we're
we gotta
done
get
with the
to- We got to
movie.
get to awards, but we should talk. We can't not talk about the fact that the most famous thing to come out of this movie isn't anything from the movie itself.
No, it's the meltdown.
But it's his tirade on set. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have it on here?
I don't have the whole. I don't want to play the whole thing.
Okay.
But that's what this thing. This clip we've been playing.
Yo, amateur.
Amateur man.
Yeah, but you can explain the backstory probably of it, like how it happened.
I mean, virtually, it's one of these things where Shane Hurlbut, who's the director of photography, and
The cinematographer, basically.
this, I mean, he's in control of a unit.
Right.
So it's like he's the guy that controls all the people that do everything with the
the
cameras.
lighting, the
Right.
shooting, all that.
So normally, not necessarily his point to walk in and adjust something. That would be like a grips or whatever. But so Christian Bale, it's the scene when him and Bryce Dallas Howard are kind of having that emotional. Well,
Oh, when she stares at him.
she stares at him and he's having this emotional like. I looked in, what was it?
I looked in his eyes and he believed he's human.
Right. I'm pretty sure it was that scene so Shane Hurlbut goes in to adjust a light
He's walking around in the background, off camera,
Right.
but in his line of sight. So he's looking at Bryce Dallas Howard, if she's even there. Sometimes
Yes,
they're not
yes.
even there. But he's looking at whoever. And so behind that, while he's trying to concentrate, behind camera, behind everything, this guy's fixing lights and going around doing stuff.
Right. But like in his professional capacity,
Yes.
not as if he was just like walking around on his phone or something.
around,
Like he
right.
was like walking around with this intention to
Setting stuff
fix
up.
something.
And because he's so Christian
man.
Bale felt like it was taking him out of, like, he couldn't concentrate on the scene because as he's trying to give his, as he says, emotional performance,
Yeah.
this dude in, probably khakis and a polo shirt's walking around back there doing stuff and distracting him.
Yeah.
Damn
Not
right.
to excuse what he did. I'm just saying this is the setup
but
of the tirade.
there's the setup of the tirade,
He
which
goes
is
nuts.
I mean, this what, like 3 minutes?
Yeah.
If you guys out there look up the Bale tirade from T
you can all,
Salvation,
it's got some language we'd prefer not to have on our show, but
no,
but
but
that's why I'm
there's-
going to play the whole thing. But it is absolutely, he's calling him an. Well, you remember part of it, right?
I was like, you're amateur.
He
I'll
says
never be on
amateur.
a movie
Yeah.
if you're on it again.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's
He's like,
dropping
he literally is
F-bombs.
like, whatever you
Dropping
say,
F-bombs.
whatever you say, man. You and I are done professionally. Like,
Yeah.
and he just like goes back to his Welsh accent. and
Yeah.
just goes, yeah.
All that stuff, and then I don't remember the clip everyone uses from it. Of course, is
Oh, good for you.
which is I don't know what the context of it was.
I can't
but somebody had
Oh, so that
responded.
came from that.
That came from that tirade.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. I thought it came from Patrick
No.
Bateman here.
Oh no, that's
That's just the picture on we have up there. But
I'm trying to do a scene here. I'm trying to do a scene. And I think, what's Shane doing standing there?
Yeah.
What's Shane doing with that light?
Yeah.
Like, well, he's a cinematographer. He's doing, like, he does a lot of stuff
yeah,
with
and then he
lights.
goes, "Oh, good
Yeah.
for
Oh,
you."
good for you. Yeah.
Demoralizing.
This is, I'll tell you.
Mocking. right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, though. Tell me that, like, this is Christian Bale on the interim of, like, he was just in The Dark Knight.
Literally the year before.
He was just in The Dark Knight, which, obviously was huge, one of the biggest movies of all time.
Yes.
And then now he's also like in tandem. He's doing John Connor in T Salvation. He's prepping to play Dickie Eklund in The Fighter, which
Yeah.
then he won the Oscar for.
Yeah.
And then back to doing The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Like,
I got you.
like we were saying, like Christian Bale, his career from 2002 to like 2015
Yeah.
it's an amazing career.
No,
It's an amazing body of work.
Yeah.
And like you can feel though just the frustration in
Oh, yeah.
him here. And like he was a total ass for
And he
what
apologized
did.
for it. And I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I think what we're doing here is trying to rake him through the coals again because he has said he has come out and apologized. He said him and the DP were good that day. Like
Yeah,
they made
exactly,
up that day, and
exactly.
like stuff happens. You guys have been on sets together. I've been on sets with people.
absolutely.
The tensions run
I've lost
high.
my cool.
Kurt and I yelled at each other. On
I
Lumberman.
broke a range over an oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens. Unfortunately, somebody and Bale did talk about this. Somebody broke their trust, the on-set trust. Somebody
Right, right.
recorded this and released it, and that I think
That
is the
person's
thing
an
that's not okay.
No,
Right?
That person.
That was
people
not
you do,
okay.
What do you gain from that? Well, you're just gonna make someone. And this is the thing that's frustrating. Like Hollywood celebrities, as much as a lot of them can be obnoxious with whatever,
Yeah,
they're individuals. They're human beings, and
they can lose their cool.
they're allowed to have bad days.
Somebody tried to do this to Tom Cruise on the last Mission Impossible. He went on it because they had all those COVID restrictions. They had shut down the movie 3 times. It was
did.
costing a ridiculous amount of money.
It was not costing. It was
He's the-
costing Tom Cruise
That's
a
what I'm
lot of
saying.
money.
He's
Yeah.
the producer. He's financing stuff, all this stuff.
Yes.
And so people weren't following protocols, and he had a meltdown, which got recorded and sent out just like this. Except the public reaction was much better to Tom Cruise's because everyone was like, "Yeah, I think we all agree with Tom Cruise on
Right,
this one."
It was though. It was. It literally was in the news for like
backfired.
3 days.
Yeah.
Because
Backfired.
Tom Cruise was like, his whole meltdown was like, oh yeah, you guys are the guys that just show up for work. Because he was literally addressing like a couple like
Yeah.
Best Boys or
Yeah,
something,
whatever, right.
whatever. Just like, yeah, like you're really,
He's like, "You're going to cost all these people their jobs.
yeah.
These people can't feed
he's
their
just-
families."
Right. And he's like, you're here 8 hours a day. I'm the one that's here. And then I go home and I'm the one on the phone all night with insurance companies and production companies
Right.
and bankrolling the, premiums to
And if we
complete this thing.
right, and if we
Yeah.
get shut down again,
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
going to be, and so he went crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember listening to the clip when it came out and going, "Yeah, what's the problem here?"
Yeah.
It was just like that media was trying to bury Tom Cruise. And
Right,
it didn't.
right.
When the audience and the fans
Yeah.
stood up for Tom, like, yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're interviewing, remember they're interviewing freaking Josh Gaden, the freaking, what the hell is he voiced the damn snowball
Oh,
in
yeah, yeah.
Frozen.
Yeah.
What did you think about this? What
Josh
why?
Gad, yeah.
Yeah, Josh.
Like,
Gad.
why are you trying to turn everybody against each other? Like that is ridiculous.
I don't know.
I think
we got to
for
get
this
to awards.
for
Go ahead,
this
though.
particular movie though, in this sense, I remember once again like this happened, this came out, and for a lot of people it was more like, oh, wow, Christian Bale was that dedicated to the role of John Connor.
right.
And there was even someone, I remember they were like, dude, I heard his performance in T Salvation is like so method. He might actually like get nominated for an Oscar for playing John Connor. And I was like, I thought to myself, I'm like, well, that would be the day. But someone said that to me.
Let's get to the awards, guys. We're going to start off, as we always do, with the most prestigious award we give out in the honor of Will Patton. It's the Will Patton Award for Intensity.
You want a war? I'll give you a war!
I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night! And if they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm gonna take every last one of you out. You make sure
They remember forever the night they played the Titans.
That's right. And so who was the actor that embodied the most intensity, that took the role the most serious, that really conveyed sometimes an outright, sometimes an internal intensity within their role? Ryan, who's your nominee for the Will Patton Award for Intensity?
Absolutely, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Yes.
Sputtering out sentence fragments.
Yep.
And lighting things
lighting
on fire.
things on fire.
No pun intended.
That line from Tommy Boy literally describes his performance in this movie.
Yep.
Okay.
And he is still cranked up 10 times more than the rest of the cast.
Hard disagree.
I like Michael Ironside in the movie. I'll give him props for showing up, but Mike Ironside
for showing up.
Bro, Sam Worthington is my nominee for this.
Sam Worthington is the best performance in the movie.
Sam Worthington, on the strength of the yell alone, wins the Will Patton for me.
Okay.
Well, not wins, because we'll see who wins, but my nomination.
Sure.
That was the most intense on-screen yell I've ever seen.
It is a very intense on-screen yell.
And then his moments of
The rest of his performance.
going through dealing with the fact that he's a machine. And
Sure.
ripping his thing out of his head and all that.
Yeah, no, he did all right.
Who's your nominee, Bob?
Star.
Is that really your nominee?
No, I'm messing with you.
I was about to have a child actor. What's the world coming to?
Right.
I just want to see your guys' reaction.
Oh, well, you win.
No, all right. No, I would have to go with Sam Worthington.
All right, that's 2. But looks like you've got at least
Go stare at a wall, Farrell.
I am going to stare at a wall.
Because we've got Don Boring writing in. I think this might be Don's first time. He's written on the show, on the email, on the mailbag before, but I think it might be his first time actually doing awards for us. And so Don went with Christian Bale, hands down.
Hands down.
I thought he really portrayed a John Connor that he knew of the future, but faced it with an uncertainty very well. His character should be an intense individual, and Christian brought that out in John. If that isn't a good enough answer, then just listen to the clip of Christian Bale cussing out a crew member. That alone should win him the award. Now, if that's included, I would maybe give him my nomination, but I got to stick to on-screen here, Don, but I appreciate that. So that makes it's 2-2.
Don't forget John Connor's amnesia. Forgot about the past.
Oh, that's all that too.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's a different aspect to this.
So Don is on Team Ryan. Me and Bob are together on Sam Worthington. We got one more person giving awards. Good old Charlie Francois back again.
Francois.
To give us his take. And Charlie said, Sam Worthington.
Oh.
No other actor. Bob is over here celebrating like Degeneration
Yeah,
X.
he's doing the Degeneration X over here.
Look, he goes, no actor in this movie is deserving of such a prestigious award. Or he goes, no actor is deserving. But despite his performance being standard, Sam was the only actor displaying any personality or emotion, which is ironic as he plays a machine. Every other actor was more of a robot than he was. Was this the director's choice, a subtle comment on the humanity of Marcus, or was the rest of the cast just terrible? We may never know.
How about that?
Strong take.
How about very
Charlie.
strong take? I think he missed Christian Bale's performance.
I don't think so.
Here we go.
I think he missed half of the movie.
I think he misunderstood it.
What this means is Sam Worthington wins, doesn't that? Is that what that
think so.
means?
Hit the button.
Oh, that's right.
All right, that's
Sam
fine.
Worthington,
That's fine.
the Will Patton. He's got a Will Patton award to hang on his fireplace.
We need to swap out that applause and put in real American. Every time someone wins that,
If I had the rights to do that all the time, I would
All right,
do it. And it's not gonna be
Sam's
awesome.
got the Will Patton. Christian has
But
the
he got
Oscar.
2 votes. That's true.
But,
Which
you
one's
know,
worth more?
you don't need an Oscar.
And it was close. It was 3-2. The next award we give out is to who was the worst actor in the movie, the one who had the acting range of a trash can, which is why we named this award after Steven Seagal. It's the Steven Seagal trash can filled with dirt.
Trash can, oh trash can, it's a trash can full of dirt, yeah.
Love never dies, neither do they.
Love is eternal, and that's a long time.
Never get tired.
No, that's the best. It's literally the best Steven Seagal line in his career.
All right.
No one beats me in the kitchen.
Brian,
It's a tough one.
Who's your trash can?
It's a tough one. Like, I want to just give the trash can full of dirt to John Brancato and Michael Ferris.
Well, you
but
got
I can't.
to plant your flag on acting.
I'll tell you this. The guy that you liked at the very beginning,
Yeah.
the general,
Yeah.
who just could not be a badass general.
Yeah.
Like, he had maybe 4 lines
Yeah.
to say, like, yeah, I'm a badass leader who's about to die in a nuclear blast, but he didn't. Like, the resistance at the beginning could have just been led by a trash can.
So you're giving that guy the award.
Yeah.
That I gave props to.
Yeah.
You did just because I like him, don't you?
No, to be honest, that was an easy pick for me last night when I watched the movie.
My trash can nomination is Christian Bale.
You're
Just-
only doing that because I gave him the Will Patton Award.
No, it's literally. Do you want to see my outline?
Yes.
Christian Bale, right there.
All right, James.
A trash performance.
Okay, sir. Why?
Listen, because of all the things that we've already said, staring past the camera and doing your Batman voice and bringing your performance from your previous movie is not a good performance. He's not playing John Connor. He's just playing Christian Bale doing this and staring past the camera. So it makes it look like I'm thinking about what I'm talking about. It's terrible. It was a terrible performance. The fact that he's John Connor, the hero of the resistance, didn't feel very heroic. In fact, he felt like an antagonist for most of the movie.
You're right.
And that's
on that.
partially writing, but also he didn't do anything to convey like, oh, I really like this guy and I want to, jump on board with John Connor.
I would say
He's outshone in his own movie.
I will say he's a better John Connor than Jason Clarke.
And Nick Stahl.
And Nick Stahl.
Yes.
Yeah.
But just judging on this movie alone, I think he was the worst. I can't give it to Bryce Dallas Howard because it wasn't her fault. She had nothing.
No, she had nothing to do.
Common had nothing to do.
Also
Nothing to do.
Yeah.
I thought Blood Moon Good was good, or Moon Blood Good.
yeah, Moon Blood Good.
Yeah.
No, she was. She was
Good-
great.
Good Moon Blood is fantastic, and
She was
that's-
great.
She's very good.
I think it's Christian Bale. Who's your nomination?
Christian Bale.
Let's go. Let's go.
Come on.
Just
Come on.
yeah.
Oh, he's just doing Batman.
He's just doing Batman.
Yeah. And okay, Arnie just plays Arnie in most of his
Okay.
movies.
But here's the thing:
Hold on.
Christian Bale isn't a type actor. He's a character actor. He's
Wow.
He's not the Stallone, Arnold, The Rock, Ryan Reynolds that kind of just play themselves in every movie.
Sure.
I would never give them the Best Actor award.
No, yeah. They don't deserve it because
Okay.
they just playing themselves.
All right.
And to tell you the truth, I think I gave Stallone.
So
I
you're
gave
saying
Stallone the trash can full of
because-
dirt for Cobra.
Yes.
he was. I did.
He did.
I
give
know that.
Stallone.
No, I think we both did.
All right, we got to keep this train rolling here. So that's two for Bale, 1 for the Hillbilly Sergeant. Don Boring said Sam Worthington.
Wow.
I'm not happy about this, Don, but I respect your choice. He goes, hear me out. He's a good actor.
okay.
After I already commented, he says, hear me out. We have 2 Avatar movies that prove that he's a good actor. The Marcus character is nothing but a plot device and is written absolutely poorly. He has no purpose, only to give John his super heart to live with later. I blame a combo of bad writing, poor character development, and Sam not really knowing what to do with a horrible character. I think he knew it was a bad character, so he just phoned it in for a paycheck.
Whoa. Whoa.
First, it's part of what I love about having patrons participate, because sometimes their opinions are just so far different from ours. I mean, he teamed up with you on the Will Patton, but in this case, I'm shocked that anybody would think Sam Worthington gave a bad performance in this. But I respect it, Don.
I would give Sam Worthington the trash can over Christian Bale.
Between the two of them, you thought he did a worse acting performance?
Yeah. In the sense of it's hard. It's a hard thing right now.
The hell are you talking about?
Here's the thing. Sam Worthington is a good actor.
And it was nuanced, and there were moments of just in his eyes you could see what was going on with him.
Nuanced. Yes. It was nuanced. I agree that Worthington was nuanced. But in the like, if you go into a movie like Bale was on, like I said, he turned it up. he was doing his Christian Bale stuff.
Why do I have you on the show?
I don't know. You called me and said, "Hey,
I'm just kidding. I love having you on the show. Right?
It's funny. It's true though, because it's a matter of like, like Worthington does good. I don't agree with that guy's assessment of Worthington.
Yeah.
But I would give him the trash can over Bale.
I could not agree harder. Bale's performance was so one note. It's not even funny. He's like on autopilot.
He's not on autopilot.
All right, let's see what Charlie Francois had to say. Christian Bale as John Connor.
Come on, guys.
I have one question. Why did he have to do the Batman voice through the whole movie?
Thank you. Thank you.
I guess it could have worked if his lines were any good. The man barely had a complete sentence. Half the time, he didn't even have a verb in there. I came into this movie not a fan of Christian Bale. I now file him with Russell Crowe in the actors that I couldn't care less about box.
Wow.
He was more intense in the infamous leaked rant than he was in the entire movie. No, Christian, it's not the DP's fault. You suck. Special mention for Common. Love him as a rapper, but his acting skills rival Bale's. Both could have been replaced by a pile of bricks.
Pile of
How
bricks.
dare you loop Russell Crowe
What a
into
great
this.
take. And that means Christian Bale is going to win the coveted Steven Seagal trash can filled with dirt.
He's officially, if he hears this, he's going to stare at a wall.
I protest.
And if you guys are wondering why I keep saying staring at a wall, apparently the legend is when Ben Affleck was cast as Batman, Christian Bale found out and stared at a wall for 30 minutes.
That's right.
A blank wall.
It's a true story.
True story.
The next award we give out is the Steve James Unsung Hero Award.
Let's go.
You know, every place you go, there's always someone who thinks he's a badass, right? Then there are those few who are.
That's right.
Are you some kind of a badass karate boy?
That's right. Steve James, an unsung hero in every movie he's in, and not everybody can be like him, but there are some few who can. And so who was the Steve James unsung hero of this movie?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
I went with Good Blood Moon.
Yeah, you know what? I'd say Moon. Yeah, Moon Blood Good.
Moon Blood Good.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Star.
Star?
Legitimately go with Star.
All right.
Over Moon Blood Good?
I mean,
We're both
Moon
going
Blood
Blair.
Good gets the coveted Hot Babe Award.
Oh, wow. That's,
okay.
Not everybody gets those.
Yeah, I don't get them out all the time on every episode, but no, she gets it
Not
for
Bryce
sure.
Dallas Howard, though.
No, screw her pregnant belly.
Okay.
Her fake pregnant belly. Her movie belly.
Actually, and you know, to bring up Moon Blood Good, and once again, like talk about a character that just drops out of the movie.
Yeah.
Like
she's just gone.
Like Blair Williams was kind of built up to kind of be a really cool character, and then after that they obviously she's a traitor to the resistance, so I can, you know,
to a certain extent, I understand why they cut her out.
You kind of can assess that she was probably then put in the brig or something, and now
she's at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
she is. She gave him a big whopping face smell.
Right.
No,
but no, she's she's a really awesome character that I think really should have done more.
So that's 2 for her, 1 for Star, and we'll see here. Don Boring went with Anton Yelchin as Kyle Reese. Said his portrayal of Reese was excellent. Without his portrayal or the character, this movie would have been way worse than it was. If he is too much of a main character, then I choose Michael Ironside. I think Kyle was enough of a smaller part to get the nomination.
Yeah.
I think he helps to make a decent obstacle for John Connor to clash with Michael Ironside he's talking about, and it helps that he can play a mean bastard with perfection. Now that is a perfect description of Michael Ironside. Nobody plays a mean bastard better than Michael Ironside.
No, not really. It's true. Yeah.
He's great.
Powers Booth might give Michael Ironside a run for his money.
Well, I think both as good as each other. I think,
exactly.
at it. Yeah. No, for sure. So that means that Moon Bloodgood is going to win the Steve James Unsung Hero Award.
Hot Babe Award winner and Unsung Steve James Award.
See, one of your nominations won.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, see?
There you go.
I smell her boots.
It's time to be positive. We're on the positivity train now here, and that means we've got a name. Even in the movies we don't like. In some cases, this is really easy because we love a movie. But what are our 3 favorite things about Terminator Salvation? It can be anything. Go ahead.
3 favorite things about this movie. That's a tough one because I really like this movie. So to pick the favorite things, I mean, Sam Worthington getting the opportunity to be Marcus Wright. Because like you said, the way it happened, how Cameron just was like, oh, I know this guy. I was working with him on Avatar, you know, maybe give him a shot. And, you know, it was kismet that this was like, and it came out before Avatar.
Right.
So it kind of like gave us this precursor of like Worthington got this huge role to then be later on in the year in the biggest movie of all time.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like
That's cool.
props
That's one.
to Sam Worthington. I don't know. I mean,
Do we need to come back for the next two?
I don't know what number 2 would be. I know what number 1 is.
What's number 1?
Shane Hurlbutt.
Okay.
Man, he shot the ever-loving crap out of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, him and McG sat down and watched Children of Men and were like, you know what? We should, like, apply that theory to Terminator.
Yeah.
And it's like, boom. Like, the battle scenes, the action scenes in this movie are so freaking good.
Love it.
The chaos, the kinetic,
All that stuff.
But we should take a dump on lore and foundation.
Yeah, well,
Well, that's the script.
when we talk about that, that's the
That's not
different
the guy
story.
that the point of
Let's
the
let's
camera.
hash that out because I have a big problem with this movie. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
Well,
Is-
go ahead. Go ahead.
So my 3 favorite things of this movie is like the special effects,
Yeah.
obviously the cinematography, and Sam Worthington, and then Moon Bloodgood, all that stuff. It's like more than 3,
Yeah.
but the general consensus.
4
is-
favorite things is okay.
My least favorite thing about this movie is MCG.
Why
Riddle.
MCG?
Well, you asked me that question. It's like, why do directors get bad names? Like, why do they get because you're left holding the bag because it's your effing movie.
That's right.
But the thing is, when you have a studio that tells you once again,
And
it's like
I agree with that studio
Fair or not, the head coach gets blamed when a football team loses, even if it's because the quarterback threw an interception. Like, you're ultimately the one holding the bag.
right.
And he did contribute to the nonsense himself also.
I know that he did contribute slightly, but you had like the ending, for example. This movie, I think, is a pretty great movie up until the last half hour.
And you know what I say about that? That's the problem.
Right.
Because when a movie is great, you can have the greatest movie of all time. You don't stick to the landing. Your
Yeah.
movie sucks
and
from
that's-
then on.
It's true.
That's what's
It's
going to
true.
determine if you want to watch
It's
it over
true.
and over again.
Because
Your
this-
replay value.
right.
Yeah. This is a great movie to watch the first hour of and then like go to sleep.
All right. Well, we're going to get to our final ratings here in just a second.
Or
But my
make out
3 favorite
during.
things. So my number 3 is Stan Winston. Stan Winston actually passed away during the production of this movie. This was the last film he worked on. His effects house obviously worked on it and finished it in his stead. But just the fact that he designed, gave us these Terminators, and he's still doing it here in Terminator Salvation. Love Stan Winston.
That's a good call. I forgot about that.
yeah.
Yeah, because
And-
he gave us the original, the OG Terminator, gave us
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, gave us Aliens.
Helped design these T-600s and all these
Yep.
other Terminators
Yep.
that were new for this movie.
Yeah, I forgot about his involvement, honestly, until you just said something.
It's great.
Yeah.
And then my second was Sam Worthington. Loved him. And then number 1, I just said, look, the movie effects were awesome. Just gorgeous. I don't like, as I said before, the desaturation of the movie, but it looked phenomenal. The effects were seamless with the practical stuff, and that was by far the best part of this movie, with the action sequences and the way those were filmed. Yeah.
My comment on the desaturation, too, is kind of like, because I also replay value. I don't like to rewatch desaturated movies because
Yeah.
they're bleak.
Yeah.
Like The Road with Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
Saw it once. Don't care if I ever see it again.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like even like The Book of Eli is a great movie. I don't want to watch it ever again.
It's not great to look at.
But like Terminator Salvation, for me at least, I feel like it actually makes kind of a fun movie out of the bleakness. Whereas a lot of movies that trend toward the bleak desaturation are
Yeah.
just like that. All right, well, that was fine. That was good.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so Don said his 3 favorite people were Bryce Dallas Howard, Anton Yelich, and Christian Bale. Number 1.
Wow.
Bale, he's with you on the
yeah.
Bale train, man.
I mean,
So you and Don, you're boys.
You guys are going back
do
to
it.
Gotham.
let's
That's
do
right.
it.
The 2 of you riding back to Gotham.
Does he have any follow-up comments?
No, but Charlie Francois does. Charlie said number 3, Kevin Wiggins as General Olsen, the team leader during the first raid on the underground base.
What?
The guy you gave the trash can to is his 3rd favorite thing. A tiny role, but he managed to put some life into it. And I believed the tension between him and Connor, and the Southern drawl made him memorable. Too bad he died in 5 minutes.
Yeah, maybe he would have earned something besides a trash can had he survived the nuclear
I
blast.
liked his performance.
I know you did. I know
Charlie
you did.
and you and Don
Man.
are boys. Me and Charlie are boys.
That's how it goes, I guess.
Number 2, the Terminator sound design. The machine-like effects sounded otherworldly and menacing. Each Terminator had a distinct sound, but all of them had a similar character that tied the world together and brought some intensity to the action scenes. Another great call out from Charlie. And number 1,
Yeah.
Sam Worthington. I don't know if he was actually any good or if this is just by comparison, but his was the only character that made me feel any emotion or empathy at all. So he gets Sam Worthington number 1 spot.
Yeah. I wish there was more to say. Like, He's a good character. I wish there was more. Even like I wanted to see more of Marcus Wright. And
You know what I wish there was more of?
What's that?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, yeah. Talking about a Terminator movie.
It's the only Terminator movie that Arnold's not in. His fakeness is fake Arnold is in it, right?
Right.
But that he himself does not appear in. It's the only one. Obviously, this is an easy question to answer. Would Arnold make this movie better? It did make it better that we got CGI Arnold. Actual Arnold in this movie would have made it 10 times better, because I think then you definitely got to have that moment between John and him, right?
Absolutely. I think it would have made
Absolutely.
it better, but in the same sense, Arnold didn't even make the last 2 entries better.
Well, maybe they would have been even worse without him, is what I'm saying.
they would have
right?
been worse without him, correct.
He made them better than they would have been.
That's even one of those things where, like with Dark Fate, the way he's written into Dark Fate, is so dumb.
It's dumb.
And,
Have you seen Dark Fate?
No, I skipped it after you told me it was a piece of trash.
Keep skipping it. Just don't even watch it.
I saw the opening. I saw where John Connor gets killed.
Yeah.
They brought back
Another guy that just took a whiz all over the lore.
why can't I suddenly pull his name now?
Edward
Furlong.
Edward Furlong. They brought back Furlong, which I was excited about, and then I heard through the grapevine and eventually saw what they did with that, and it just made me so angry. Again, taking just a crap on what previous movies
Tim Miller
had done.
Who took a bigger crap, MCG or Tim Miller?
I don't know.
I think Tim. I'm gonna go with Tim Miller.
Miller.
Because
Yeah.
he
For
went
sure
on a
Tim Miller.
He went on a Fembot campaign.
Because they retcon the whole. Because once again, they retcon the franchise.
I think you can get Arnold in here. I think you can even have him as a guy that they use to base off of,
they
for the
didn't.
T800.
Dude, like if he was
The Sergeant
the
Candy
character
deleted scene from
in T3. Right?
Yeah.
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 Just bring
Yeah.
Sergeant Candy in.
No,
and have-
exactly. That's exactly it. Like actually give that character a story in the universe.
That's what I'm saying.
To then this is cool. Like we're following the guy that the T800 is based on.
Listen, these machines are beautiful, and I look at the fantastic. They got a fantastic body. Okay, it's got the great muscles, the metal muscles, but look even more fantastic. If I was around the outside of them and you put my muscles on top of their muscles, it's going to work.
It is very good work. You're right. You're right, Mr. Schwarzenegger. I'll get right on it.
Right? I mean, come on. That would be incredible.
It would be.
That's why I think
it would have been
better.
I would have been ecstatic.
Yeah. Not as much as you usually have to say about Arnold, because this is kind of a very obvious one.
Oh, absolutely.
In fact, this is a
We
Terminator
would have got
movie.
like you said earlier. We would have gotten that more dynamic between
Yes.
him and Christian Bale.
And Don Boring said, yes, even if it's a horrible CGI rendering of him, it gave us a minute of pure joy. Arnold made the movie better. I agree, Don. Charlie said any role. The obvious choice would be Marcus Wright, or, actually show up for his cameo. Hell, cast him as John Connor. I don't care about continuity as long as Christian Bale steps off screen forever.
Oh my gosh.
Listen,
Wow.
I'm John Connor, and I'm also hunting John Connor. And so it takes the most magnificent, most beautiful, the one with the perfect body to find the one who must be destroyed, who is also fantastic, and only Arnold can defeat Arnold. And so the reason that this has never worked before is because I wasn't John Connor, and now I am.
I believe they still would have given it $200 million.
They would have made their $200 million.
I mean, if they're already crapping on the continuity, and saying none of it matters.
The continuity doesn't even matter.
Just
so it's
make
like,
Arnold-
let's get Schwarzenegger to play John
right.
Connor.
He's like, John Connor? Yes, I'm John Connor. Be awesome. All right, guys, let's put this thing to bed. Let's give this thing a final rating. I know we've pretty much laid out our arguments for what we think, but I think we finally have to attach a label to it here. So it's marrying the objective and the subjective. As a film, is it good or bad? How do we feel about it? Our own personal feelings. How we end up at our final rating. So Ryan, I'm gonna
The short version.
the short, not the short. It doesn't have to be the short version, but not the love or war and peace version.
I almost would have been done with my version.
We don't know that. We can't predict the future.
Look, good movie. Good movie, full stop.
I can predict the future.
Oh, good for you.
I'm playing that for you
good movie,
because
full
you said
stop?
good movie, full stop.
Good movie, full stop.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Why?
The screenplay is awful.
That right there disqualifies it.
No.
From being a good movie, full stop.
You could have a terrible screenplay, and if
true.
99%, like the other 99% of your cast and crew shows up, you can make a great movie.
I see your point.
It's better than T3.
Ooh, oh, okay.
It's
No, it's not.
better than,
No, it's not.
it's
It is
way
not.
better.
Is-
Way better than Genesis.
Yes.
Way better than Dark Fate.
Yes.
Sure, I'll give
I
you
think-
those two. It's not
I
fourth
think-
and
Best
three.
one.
I think the expectations were too much, because this is the constant argument that Bob and I have had with people of, it's like, oh, we finally get to see the War of the Machines and they dropped the ball. And it's like, yes, they did. They dropped the ball
Then
in
how
the
can you say
writing
it's a
room.
good movie?
Because the people that put in their time, their sweat, their creativity, Shane Hurlbutt showed up. Mick G matured as a director.
This movie made me want to hurl out of my butt.
I can't believe you didn't like it that much. I liked it more now watching it the other night than like even back in 2009.
I did.
And I was like a solid like 7 out of 10 back in 2009.
I did like it more this time than I did back in 2009, because I walked out of that theater very angry, because the lasting impression is the last 20 minutes. And I look at it in a different way now. I think that it's still, I don't, critics, audience, it bombed. They shuttered the last two. If it had been a good movie, none of that would have happened.
Right. Had it made money and had it been maybe nominated for a few Oscars, and maybe if the critics didn't take a dump all over it, maybe they would have finished the War of the Machines trilogy. And you know what?
Right. That's fine.
Great movies cannot make money.
Oh, just call that a great movie. Just call it a great movie.
Great movies cannot make money.
Okay.
And terrible movies can get sequels.
Hey,
Case in point, from 2009, Salvation didn't get a sequel, yet we still got 5 more Transformers movies after Revenge of the Fallen.
All right. You're going to say good movie, full stop?
Good movie, full stop. Terminator Salvation.
All right. Do you want to go or do you want me to go first?
you can go first.
All right, I'll go first because I'm going to be brief. Because anything argument I could make has already been laid out. I've said all there is to say over the course of this episode. I have great respect for what the effects people did, what the cinematographer Hurlbutt did, for what Sam Worthington did, and the action sequences were fantastic, and I enjoyed big parts of this movie. Its sins are far too great for me to say that I enjoyed it overall. This is a good movie that sucks.
Yes! Yes!
Which is a rating that I've wanted to throat chop people for in the past, and I've disregarded as a viable option. But the more I thought about this, the more I think it's a well-made, good movie. The effects people, the cinematographer, all did a great job. But the crapping on the lore, the script is so terrible that I hated it. So I think it sucks, but I also recognize it's a very well-made movie. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it makes sense.
So it's a good movie from a nuts and bolts standpoint, but I think it sucks. Therefore, to me, it's a good movie that sucks.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, guys? That's Feral Legacy right there.
Feral Legacy. Did you come up with a good movie that sucks?
I
He
did.
was the first one to ever do it, and I
did.
raked him over the coals for it.
I did, and then I did it a couple times after.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. Where are you at on this, Bob?
Straight up bad movie.
Straight up bad.
Yeah,
I respect that.
You know why? Because of what they did.
Yeah.
The creative.
It's hard. Look.
Sorry, man.
You guys
I'm sorry
aren't-
to say it, like-
you guys aren't wrong. Like I want to strangle. I want to strangle them for their screenplay and for the amount of. There was a lot of. You seen how many producers were in this movie. Literally
Strangle him.
Yeah.
Like
So you're not. They're. I don't. They say
How
they're.
about all the writers? The Jonathan Nolan was supposed to take a pass at this script.
he couldn't.
But the writing strike happened,
Yeah.
and then he had to go off and
Yeah.
do something else after the fact. So like they were bringing in everybody they could to fix this piece of junk.
Yeah.
I would rather have Zack Snyder remake this movie.
Yeah. Oh, give me the Zack Snyder.
Give me the Snyder cut of
Future
Terminator
War.
Salvation.
The Future War cut.
Yeah, give me the Future War.
I'll take a Future War trilogy.
which is starring John Cena.
Oh, please.
Dude, did you know there was an ending?
John Connor.
This is the thing. There was an ending in which Helena Bonham Carter was actually supposed to appear as a Terminator.
Yes.
Oh, you do know about that?
Yes,
would've liked
I
that.
knew about, but I just thought about for a second. Tell me that Future War trilogy with John Cena as John Connor wouldn't slap.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome.
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
I like to
Directed by Zack Snyder.
Zack
Yeah.
Snyder.
It'd be absolutely ludicrous,
It would be
and I would love it.
Yeah.
great.
All right, guys. Well, let's see what the patrons had to say, their final ratings on this film, and then we're going to tell you about what's coming up next week. Don Boring said, highly rewatchable, a lot of bad ideas in this movie, but it's still very entertaining. So I'm going a bad movie that rules is Don's ultimate ruling. So good there on you, Don. Charlie just said, This is a bad movie.
Oof.
I'm not surprised after reading his previous comments.
Yeah, he was harsh.
I dozed off more than a few times during this one and woke up feeling like I hadn't missed a thing. The plot is unabashedly stale, cookie cutter sci-fi action. When you work a franchise like Terminator, take big swings or go home. The writing was awful. I could guess each line before it was spoken. Bale couldn't even line up more than 3 words. I'm fine with laconic heroes, but the one-liners have to be spot on for it to work. Yeah, that's a great comment from Charlie, and I think of like Kurt Russell and Soldier.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that worked.
Yep.
But the lines worked. What we got instead was as tasteful and original as lukewarm soup. The camera work was good, or as he says, decent, especially during the action scenes, but the grading was terrible. It looked like someone turned down the saturation button. Make it look gritty. Was this a thing at the time? I'm glad we're done with that. Apparently, the production company went under after this movie. I suppose everyone involved in making this enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed watching it, which was not at all.
Jeez.
So,
Harsh.
2 straight up bad movies, 1 bad movie that rules, 1 good movie, and 1 good movie that sucks. This was all over the board, you guys.
Kind of like the critic.
All over the board.
Just like the critic rating. Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, Metacritic, box office, everything.
Man,
That's just in all different directions.
I haven't seen a device.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a division like this since Venom.
Yeah. Well, look, next week we're going to be back in the 90s for a Sandra Bullock thriller written by the same duo that wrote Terminator Salvation.
You know, James, if there's one thing that I could say about people watching Terminator Salvation,
I'm trying to get out of here.
there is no fate. There is no fate but that what we make for ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, good for you.
We're talking about The Net on next episode of BMR, a movie I've never seen, starring Sandra Bullock, written by the same duo that wrote Terminator Salvation. We have some 90s internet computer action, so we'll have Ryan Madala, our IT guy, in to, I'm sure, rip that all to pieces as we dive into that world. Feels like the first time we've done that since we were doing Ghost in the Machine with Karen Allen. So
You actually got an IT guy to comment on an IT movie.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good stuff. So thank you guys for being here and for listening. And we just appreciate each and every one of you. If you'd love to support the show, the best way that you can do that to back our show is to support us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/badmoviesrule. We got all kinds of bonus content out there and other podcasts that you can listen to. Good Movies Rule, the Horror Reel, where we talk about just horror movies and all kinds of stuff. So go check us out on there. All the links to that stuff is in the show notes. We appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you on behalf of Bob Hauser and Ryan Farrell. I'm James Hauser. Thank you for listening.
I got my bat suit. It's a chair, and I'm not going to do this care. Where's Rachel? Where's the trigger? You never gave it to an ordinary. Swear to me. You're the resistance. Right. Now these people tell you, now they're willing to do for good. Ryan Farrell thought this was a good movie, so I stared at a wall for 3 hours while peeling a banana. It's not who we are inside, but what we do that defines us.
He's actually a pretty actor.